Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Welcome everybody on this Saturday morning. It is May. What is it? May. I thought I just killed my volume. I should have. Be quiet, Dave. There you go. It's May 14th, 2022. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That is my darling and adorable wife, Joyce. This is Potato. These are my notes. This is my tambourine. This is this is my Lionel Hampton xylophone. This is my grogger. Yeah, I probably will before I really get into this. But what I'm getting into is this program. It's called Dave's Gone By. I still think I hear myself, and I'm not sure why. I'm really not sure why. Hello? No. We do this every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts, right? Here in the East Coast Daverhood, doing the 849th episode of the program. Got a lot of fun for you today. So here's what's going to be happening on the show. First of all, Joyce and I are going to just be about stuff. A couple of things we want to talk about. I'll wait. It'll be a surprise. We'll be talking about it in like 3 minutes, but for now, let it be a surprise. Then we'll have Greeley Crimes and Old Times. This is a segment we've been doing for a while based on items that appeared in the Greeley, Colorado newspaper, the Greeley Tribune, which is based on real life. It's real things that either happened or were published in a newspaper about things that happened. For example, there's a column called Cop Log where they take phone calls that have come into the Greeley and Weld County Police Dispatch of people seeing weird things happening in their neighborhood. They call the cops. The dispatcher writes down, because it's public record, and then the funniest ones go into the newspaper. We pick them out for you and share them with you, mixing them with things that happened 100 years ago. And that's literally what it's called in the paper, 100 years ago. Back in 1922, what was in the Northern Colorado newspaper that to our modern eyes looks kind of silly, kind of kooky, kind of nostalgic and fun? We mix them together in a segment that we call Greeley Crimes and Old Times. So let me just gargle a little bit. Oh, that's good. And then, also on this episode of the show, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, because the reason we're so Colorado-oriented is that Joyce and I lived in Colorado for a bunch of years, and I started writing a poem a week about all these different places in Colorado, all these town and city and burg names.
Your cup is hot because I will clean it with hot water.
Thank you, sweetie. And figured out rhymes for these places in Colorado, and once a week I share with you. Today, we're going to Alma. Alma.
You know what Alma means?
Alma means soul. It's Colorado.
Yeah, corazón is heart, Alma is soul.
That's right. Corazón is heart, Alma is soul. Alma, Colorado. But the thing is, my Colorado Limericks of the Damned have no soul at all. They are the most soulless and pointless and sometimes disgusting creation. Let me give you a warning. We probably won't be doing them for like 2.5 hours, but let me just give a look to this week's Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and I'll let you know just how disgusting and horrible. Oh yeah. Yeah. So this one, not so much for language, just for content. This one's got an R rating. But don't worry, you can leave the kids in the room for a long time before that happens. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned will also go inside Broadway. Because old Dave, as you can hear from his throat, has been going back to... I can't sit here and just rasp the whole show.
It's better, though, because that coughing is like... you want to cough much?
No, because I couldn't talk.
Grass cuts. Cut grass.
Well, yeah, I've been growing weed here in our room.
Like when they cut grass and it's not the blower, but it's some kind of thing, either blooming or grass being cut. I smell it.
That's probably it too.
Your shirt's fancy.
Isn't it nice? It has sort of an Asian-ish feel, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like Mount Fuji, sorta? It's Hawaii, but doesn't it? No? No.
I get it.
Joyce is giving the, yeah, Dave, yeah, sure. No, come on. This has an Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, printy
Oh yeah.
feel of the white and the black and the mountain here and the stuff. Go with it. Go with it because
Yes.
our guest in the Daverhood is going to be a fellow named J. Elijah Cho. Calls himself Jonathan Cho to friends and stuff, but J. Elijah
What's
Cho.
his real name?
J. Elijah Cho is his.
What is his nickname?
Well, Jonathan. The J is for, I'm assuming, Jonathan. There's probably, we'll ask him, there's probably a Jonathan Cho in Actors Equity or something, which is why he went with what he went with. But J. Elijah Cho is a playwright and an actor and an Asian person. I believe he's Korean. Why does this matter? Because his one-man show called Mr. Yuni Oshi is going to be playing at the Soho Playhouse off Broadway. Mr. Yuni Oshi.
Is that a name or is it a concept?
It's based on a character in Truman Capote's book, Breakfast at Tiffany's, right?
Okay.
So, and I just reread Breakfast at Tiffany's a few weeks ago, and he makes an impression. He's not such a huge character in Capote's book. He complains about Holly Golightly for a little bit, and then he disappears for most of. It's almost a short story. Then he comes back a little. I mean, he's a little bit.
So what's the context of the
Well, the context of J. Elijah Cho's show, don't you know, goes like so. Here's how it go. You know?
Oh, you're rhyming?
I'm doing the O thing. See?
Oh.
This is my O face.
Is it like the remember Charlie Chan and like Yellowface? Is it that? Like
This goes so far beyond even Charlie Chan
Yeah.
in Yellowface, because who do you think played this character, Mr. Yuni Oshi, in the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's with George Papard and
I don't know.
and Audrey Hepburn? Who would be the most appropriate person
Cary Grant?
to play a Japanese angry neighbor character?
I don't know.
Not Cary Grant, but you're sort of on a interesting track there.
Who, honey?
Oh, and any actor named Mr. Who would have been more appropriate
Yes.
than Mickey Rooney.
What?
You don't read? Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
No, that I did
Yes.
not remember.
It's the single most
Are you
racist.
sure?
Yeah. Oh yeah. With big Coke bottle glasses. Go Googling. Go search. Just
I don't want
do Mr. Yunioshi, Breakfast at Tiffany's, or just Rooney Yunioshi, and you'll see literally how he looks and what they did to him. And it's not as if he played against stereotype in the film. It's incredibly, hero, what's up for you? No, what's up? That's Italian. I can't do Asian, and if I did do Asian, it would be yellowface. But so it's this rare appearance of, aside, I guess, from Charlie Chan, of Asian people in commercial big Hollywood filmmaking of that era. And here's a guy who's growing up. He's an Asian person. I believe he's
He was
Korean.
very young then. He was young.
Who was?
Your guest.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, imagine
Imagine.
you're watching what is considered a classic Hollywood
Well,
movie.
I remember watching Charlie Chan with my dad, and I was like, what the heck? And I was like, why is that man
Parodying,
Hang
yes.
on, I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they just hire an actor? And my dad said, look at all the westerns. They never hire indigenous or Native American people.
Right, of course.
He's like the girl that is the Native American princess, the stereotype. He's like, they're not Native American or indigenous. So he said, look, this is not. This is what was done in all the films that we watched. He's like,
Yes.
they're not really like they're basically like people with makeup.
They're white people.
Yeah.
Warner Oland. I forget. There were two people who played Charlie Chan. One of them was Warner Oland. Forgive me for not remembering.
Well, my mother said that's why having Rita Moreno in
West Side Story.
was like that the characters were. I don't know if Rita Moreno's Puerto Rican, but she was like, at least there are people who are.
I don't know either. Yeah.
But there are people who now we call Latinx people there.
Right.
But I remember watching some of those shows with my dad, and
Now,
being like, what's going on here? And he's like, this unfortunately is very.
The one defense that Hollywood can make, that people 50 years, 80 years later can make about Charlie Chan. The defense that we made when we would watch it on, my dad and I would watch these on TV at Fort. Hello, dear.
Do you
And
want
for
cold water in it, or
no,
it's
no,
very hot? It's very hot.
Yeah. That we would make for Charlie Chan is, well, the character is smarter than any other character in the.
Yeah, but
he outsmarts the criminals.
The language, I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was I remember
Yeah.
watching it as a young person and not being so
I mean, imagine a middle-aged white guy and white Jewish scriptwriters writing Confucius say.
Well, I felt the same thing about the Jeffersons. I felt the same thing about
Well, the Jeffersons.
the Archie Bunker show, that people are trying to emulate the working class or this community, but they don't really have the language. They don't have they have parts of the culture, but they don't. And they're like, it was misappropriation.
On some level, I mean, at least All in the Family and Jefferson's got black people.
Like, what's the one with Doug, King of Queens? I mean, you're like,
King of Queens. Who are they?
Yeah, the accents. It's like,
oh yeah, well, yeah.
It's like, yikes.
Well, it was probably the most yikes ever for an Asian person, besides Jerry Lewis and Hardly Working. If you ever remember that, there's a scene as a Japanese chef there. Like, I remember it was the only funny scene in the whole damn movie, but but it's literally Jerry Lewis, and flinging shrimp around, which is what Jerry Lewis should be doing with shrimp. Ricky Rooney in that movie, in Breakfast at Tiffany's, remains like it's up there with Amos Andy, Eddie Cantor in blackface. This idea of like the Al Jolson in blackface, the most unbelievable. Like, how was America like this? That this was.
Shirley Temple did blackface.
Did she herself, or she was
what
go?
I thought she, there was some. I remember the movie. Oh, I'm not. My memory's not.
I mean, the good thing is back then, Shirley Temple actually hired a black tap dancer, Bill Bojangles Robin, to dance with her, so at least they could get real black people to dance and have rhythm. So that was something back in the 1930s, and put them in the movies and later on TV.
So what is that?
What?
Tell me more about the guest. So in the context of the guest does.
Well, J. Elijah Cho has written a play, a one-man play, that he's been doing. I mean, he's been doing this in fringe festivals for a few years now. He's finally bringing it to the Soho Playhouse off Broadway from, I think, May 18th through the 29th. And it's his...
Where is the Soho?
It's on Van Dam Street. It's literally, it's just... It feels like, where the hell is Van Dam Street? It's incredibly easy to get to. You take the E train one stop lower than West 4th, down to like Spring.
Okay.
And Playhouse is literally a block from the E train.
Near
It is kind of near Varick.
I'm confused.
But it's, you figure it's in Nowheresville, because once the numbers stop in downtown New York, I'm so freaking lost. I once got lost looking for a play, and this was a few weeks after 9/11, when they were doing a play about 9/11 called The Minutes, and it was done in like lower downtown. Yeah. I was like 10 minutes late because I could not find the theater, because there's no, 10th Street, 8th Street, okay, 6th Street, 4th Street, 3rd, 1st, there's no 1st Street. And then, I'm lost. Varick, Thompson, Johnson, Jackson, boo, and then the avenue stuff. I'm like, I'm gone. It all gets all twisty downtown, right? So anyway, but Van Dam is easy to, oh my. Okay. What time did I tell our guest? Let me just make sure.
David, it might be a conflict of this time zone.
I'm assuming he's in New York.
Write to them in the.
Well, he might just be really checking in early. Let me just check something.
Well, you can write to him in the waiting room.
No, but I want to make sure I can tell him. Okay. Aha. Wait.
No scratchy.
Let me just wait a minute. Forgive me, folks, for doing this. Because I want to make sure I didn't tell him the wrong thing. which would be fine. It's just we're gonna have to do a lot of vamping. He is. If you're listening,
No, you can text him in the waiting room.
yeah. Let me do that.
So let me show you how to do that. Do you know how to do it? Okay. So go. Where's your Zoom? This is your Zoom.
This is my wife.
No, I'm sorry. I can't go here. And you can go here. Oh, where's your? You can message him.
Brilliant.
So message him in the waiting room. Yeah. Oh, that light is hot. I do that sometimes when people are waiting in your waiting room. It's good to let them know. Sometimes they say, "I see you," But if he needs to start early, ask him, and we could work around it.
Well, he'll be staying to play the Today Yesterday trivia quiz.
Yeah, but maybe he might want to do it and come back. He could, take a break.
Oh, well, yeah,
if he wants to go.
Let's ask him.
Yeah, let's ask him. Because he can see the message, and soon he'll see your chat, and you could chat to him.
Let's see. This is because this happens on Jimmy Kimmel all the time. Let's just see what he says.
This is called virtual.
It really is. It's where we're very casual here in the Daverhood, and you're watching Dave's Gone By. Anyway, so J. Elijah Cho, he's done this show about his relationship to this character of Mr. Yunioshi, what it is meant to him as an Asian performer, Asian playwright, Asian actor, of watching Mickey Rooney be an Asian, right? So I'm looking forward to it. I really want to see it. It's going to be happening off Broadway at the Soho Playhouse. So, and John, if you're watching, basically what we're typing to you is giving you the choice to either talk to Rabbi Saul Solomon right now, and then you can take a break, and then I'm sorry, no, not yet. I'm looking at the chat as we speak.
I don't know if he can chat until you admit him, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Then let's keep it the time that I said.
But he might not know. What did you chat to him?
Well, first I said, thanks for checking in early. We'll be starting with you about 9:40, and then I chatted. Or would you rather do the interview now and take a break and come back at 10:15? What else should I be asking him?
I don't know if he can.
Or he just chose to let me be safe.
Oh yeah.
Let me come here a half hour early and just one minute let me in, then let me in. Thank you. Either way, we've got a show to do.
I don't know if people can chat back in the waiting room.
I don't know either. So,
why don't you can give him in the chat. You could give him your AOL or give him something.
Oh well.
Just give him your email and say, shoot me an email.
Yeah, but if he's not responding to this, how is he going to get my...
No, he can see it, but he can't respond.
Oh, really?
Back.
Oh, yeah.
So I would just say, here's my email, write back to me your choice.
Let's do it. Boom. Okay, whatever. It's already 20 after now, so by the time we sort this out, it'll be 9:45 anyway. Anyway, I think that covers all the... Oh, and I mentioned that we will go inside Broadway, because this week I went to the theater, and I caught a couple of shows. Among them, two I want to talk to you about, or I'll review them on the show. One is the revival of... No, they're not reviving Stephen Sondheim, alas. He's not on ice and revivable, but his classic score for a musical called Company. Company is being revived on Broadway. I went to see it. I'm going to tell you all about it. As well as the new really wild, farcical comedy, POTUS. That opened a couple of weeks ago. I caught up with it this week. I'm going to let you know whether you should see it too here on Inside Broadway on Dave's Gone By. So let me just check if I've got an email from anyone. Not yet. I think he's just logged in and is waiting. So we're going to do Greeley Crimes and Old Times. But before then, haven't even talked about much of anything. So I'm gonna prove something about human nature, and what a jerky piece of shit I am. Because this is how I love to start the show. So this is something. This is a thing. Remember what happened about 5-6 years ago now, okay, when one of my favorite musicians, one of my favorite songwriters, singers, was in the news, Nick Cave.
Oh, both his kids.
Right, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, right? I've been a Cave fan for probably 20, 25 years now. I think his work in the 90s was up there with pretty much anyone else's. Some great albums, some really dark stuff, but very lyrical stuff. I mean, Nick Cave, it's gothic crag, but no. He's great. One of the best concerts I've ever seen was Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, again, going back about 25 years. And he's still concerting. He was still actually in New York. I missed him probably a week or two ago playing with Warren Ellis in Manhattan. Because Bad Seeds are kind of on a hiatus thing. He's doing a lot of film soundtrack work and moody things with Warren Ellis. Fine. So, big fan. Love quite a number of his songs. And so, it's interesting, when a few years ago, he and his family were taking a vacation in Australia. He's rich, he's famous, he's got everything. So he takes the family, like cave climbing or whatever the hell they were doing in Australia. And he's got 4 kids. I don't know if they all went. 4 sons.
Should I cancel the cave climbing holiday plan?
Where did you climb it?
Australia.
Where?
Australia?
Switch it to Mongolia.
Okay.
I'll climb in Mongolia because they have softer rocks there. But he takes the family to a nice little holiday when they're exploring and spelunking. And he's got twin sons along with 2 other boys. And one of the twin sons in an accident, terrible accident, didn't know more of the details back then, but slipped while climbing and
It
fell.
happens more than you think, especially in Colorado. A lot of people get hurt or they get rescued because they fall, or it's no joke.
Well, no, it isn't. Well, it's certainly no joke. The kid fell, probably was not wearing any kind of, was probably wearing knee pads, but nothing on his head.
Usually they harness people, like you're harnessed.
Well, if you're harnessed, you're not going to...
No, when people like harness, I know they've seen it.
Well, if he was harnessed, then they should sue the harness people, because they were climbing the cave, and his son lost his grip, fell, and just got bashed up on the rocks and died, right? And you hear about, the tragedies of famous people all the time. A week ago, we heard about, what was it, Naomi Judd.
Yeah.
At first they said, oh, she died by mental... No, she didn't die by mental illness. She put a gun in her mouth and fired. She shot herself.
Whoa.
So they didn't even say
Oh my
that
God.
that's how she did it. I thought, pills. Women always take pills.
I hope her kids didn't find her. I mean, finding someone like that, I can't imagine. When I volunteered and worked in ER, OR, I saw some pretty hairy stuff.
Right.
Like, I cannot imagine. That must...
When they walk into the room, and, oh my God, did someone make a bad fricassee?
No, that's like somebody you love.
Of course it's horrible. Of course. And she's been dealing with mental illness. So, but even there, it's kind of the asshole in me comes out, because I don't care about the Judds. I don't like, their music isn't any, I don't dislike them, but their music means nothing to me. Ashley Judd was pretty hot back in the day, but now I'm like, okay, whatever. So I can make jokes. That's the intrinsic comedian looking at bad stuff in the world and going, you gotta make a joke about this, whether I care or not, whether, etc. and so forth. Meanwhile, because I love Nick Cave's music so much, and he's such a compelling character, and he's done documentaries about his own life and stuff, that when you heard about his kid, it was sort of a gasp. It was a real, I felt bad. I really felt awful for him and for his family. To lose a parent is one thing, it's expected. You taught me all this idea of natural, not natural grief, but things that are supposed to happen in time over the years.
It's like an unexpected. It's not symbolic loss, but it's a different. I mean, it's still the same process, but
it's a loss that comes out of sync in time, right? You lose a parent, it happens. You don't lose you're not supposed to die.
Does that bother you?
It might. If it gets louder, it will. So I really, it made me feel bad for a stranger. I've never met Nick Cave, never interviewed him, never anything. I just loved his music. I'm a fan. And I felt terrible. And didn't cry over it or anything, but I just was like, that's awful.
This is the sad part. I had a friend who in the neighborhood, they had a party for kids and one kid drowned in the pool.
Oh.
And then like the family was there. So this is the thing for them. They were all there. And it's like, this is the problem. Like, even though they probably couldn't have done anything, it was just an accident. People feel like, well, you know, we were there. I should have done this. You should have done that. There's a lot of blame in that.
They really should have stopped swimming at some point after that happened.
The family sold the house and they moved.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Because, you know, you can't. But accidents happen. But, like, I feel bad. Like, that family was there.
Yeah, every single person is traumatized on some level by, I mean, imagine, you know, like at a shooting, at that big concert where the guy was in the hotel room. I mean, you know, only 50 people died. I think 400 people were shot. Imagine all those people with trauma forever.
Running, being trampled. Yeah.
Every person within 2 miles of or 1 mile of the World Trade Center on 9/11 or more is traumatized. Remains traumatized. I was you know 12 miles away in Queens, and I'm traumatized by 9/11 a little bit.
You're traumatized when you don't have enough butter on your bagel.
I'm traumatized if the ice cream man. If I see the truck and I can't reach the ice cream man, like
look,
ice cream man.
Look on your calendar. See your make.
I had 2 this week. I did.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Baby rattle, and you had what's the other one?
Yeah, but I also yesterday we had a going away thing for one of my coworkers, and my boss brought Carvel ice cream cake.
Whoa.
He did.
But did he go? Did he make you line up and you know?
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah.
Man.
So I had ice cream 3 times this week. It was not a bad week for Dave. It was a bad week for Nick Cave. So here's the deal.
That's just
5 years ago, his kid dies. It turned out later on in an inquest, you find out these things later. The kid, who was a teenager, youngish teenager, had taken LSD before he fell off so he was stumbling around, then goes rock climbing and goes patum. How he is with a family on a holiday vacation and scores a tab of lysergic diethylamide, whatever, is...
Yeah, but if you do that, you shouldn't hike. I mean, that's like...
You shouldn't do anything! You should lie down in a bed with a blue thing over your lamp and play Pink Floyd, because it's the only thing that makes Pink Floyd tolerable.
That's unfortunate.
So, terrible tragedy.
So what, they found that out? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, apparently there was an inquest a while back that the kid somehow had scored drugs, which is, there's an irony in that Nick Cave took tons of drugs. He was a heroin addict before he cleaned up years ago.
LSD, I think, is a hallucinogen.
Yeah.
So he might have been seeing alternate...
Yeah. He might have seen the edge of the rock here, and it was over here, boom, right? So, sad, but also stupid. But we didn't know that at the time. We just thought, terrible accident, they happen. Freak accident, 1 in a million dead.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Now, here's where Dave the asshole comes in. So this week, more news comes that Nick Cave, now he's married, he's got a wife named Susie, they've been married for a while. It's a real love match, it seems. It's like his forever wife, if you will. And they have a couple of kids, one of whom they lost.
I think that's a forever pet, David. I've never heard the term forever wife.
Well, he's got 2 other kids by 2 other women that he had relationships with years ago. One is a Brazilian woman, a model.
Let me know if you need me to shut that window.
Oh, thank you, babe. And then there's another kid who has apparently been really troubled. Like, who knew? Borderline schizophrenia, being and violent, living with his mom, and apparently threatening her and even getting into violent altercations with his mother, the woman that Cave had a relationship with years ago. So the kid, this week, kills himself. I think he shot himself. Wow. And I hear this, or I read this in the feeds and things, and rather than, so far it's okay. I don't think you guys hear the blow. So put on the AC. Do it up. Why not? See if it's clean enough. Our filter has not been cleaned in like months. So we're going to try the air conditioner here. And if suddenly we both get Legionnaire's disease and AIDS together, you'll know how it happened.
Is that going to be our story of how we get those things?
And COVID. All 3 at once. It's been hiding in our air conditioner filter. Is our air conditioner plugged in? Yeah. There it goes. There it goes. Oh, baby.
I put it on a low fan, honey.
Yeah.
It says check the
Because it's a
filter.
fan of the show.
Everybody's a fan of the show, honey.
So here's the deal. Kids, 2 out of 4 now. You know, another
Are they
Nick
all boys?
Cave. Yeah, he has four sons.
Oh boy.
Had 4 sons. Another child of his died under awful, but it doesn't matter what kind of circumstances a child dies, but unexpectedly in an awful way.
It's on low. I'm sorry about the noise.
Well, but you gotta change it from fan because it won't get cool if it's only on fan.
It's on low. It's on air.
Oh no, cool, good,
Yeah,
good.
I feel
So I hear this,
it.
and I don't get that same feeling of, oh, that's horrible. Oh, poor guy. Oh, what a 1 in a million thing, like I did with the first. So, yeah, literally, that's what Cave is doing now, the weeping song. So, instead, you know, I check my soul, my alma. I check my soul, and I'm feeling like the girl in A Chorus Line. I felt nothing. I'm like, you know, he lost 1. I felt bad. I don't have any. There's nothing left in the will for this. How? I mean, it's very human reaction to this, but it's also very terrible. This idea that, okay, I felt real bad for your first kid, but you know, another. That's little. I went like, again, another one, and then immediately my mind went to a certain situation, because I do this all the time, of being like with coworkers or with friends or whatever, and somebody like serving something and spilling sugar packets or candies or something off the tray, off the plate. And I'm like, wow, you're dropping those faster than Nick Cave is dropping kids. And like within a minute of hearing the news of a dead child to someone that I don't really idolize, but I certainly appreciate and I'm a fan of A, feeling nothing this time, B, feeling like, really, again, to finding like the most awful, not even a good joke, but like a joke that's like, really, really another one. You're that's getting pretty careless right there. It's just, does that say anything about who I am, or is it more human nature?
I don't think it's human nature. What is it's like the dark humor. What is it called? There's a name for it.
Sick,
No, but there's
morbid, mordant.
maybe it's yeah.
But I wonder, like back in the day, coal miners and their families, and they have, or Catholics, and they have, the wife would give birth to 10 children. And over the course of 3 years, 4 would survive. And a couple would die in childbirth, and a couple would be, miscarriages, and then one would have crib death, and then another would last a year and a half, and then die of some horrible lung ailment. And they would keep 4 and lose, and that's just the way it was back then, right? And you have to feel, what were they like? What was a family like? First kid, oh my God, I'm so sorry, that's terrible. Second, by the by the 5th dead kid, oh, she lost another one. You
I
know,
don't think that's true.
really? You know, I don't know. I don't know.
You think you get desensitized to loss? I don't think so.
I think that the well of sorrow has a certain level of,
I don't know.
you hit, not pay dirt, but what's the,
Like a threshold.
yeah, you hit solid.
I don't know.
It's a weird thing. I would love to know your folks watching at home, your thoughts on this. If you've experienced this, if you know people who've had a tragedy and then another tragedy soon. Yeah, it's not really fair, but I can equate this to kids who are born like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, so that their birthday coincides with Christmas. And somehow their birthday is a little bit, kind of less because they get one gift really instead of 2, and one part because they mailed it in with a Christmas party, and they never have those 2 separate events. They're always sort of stuck with it together. So I acquainted with that. It's like, well, you had this terrible oh, you had another one? I don't know. Anyway, let's see if our guest wrote back. He's going to be J. Elijah. He did! Great.
Did he say it's okay?
Yes, he's right. He wrote, I'm okay to wait until 9:40, so we'll be seeing him in a couple of minutes. I was hoping to watch the first part of the episode. Great, please do. Also, I don't think I can respond to Zoom chat from the waiting room, so that's why I couldn't hear from him. Thank you, J. Elijah.
I would just write him back and say you can. I think he's watching, but you can watch the show on Facebook. If that's the. He's trying.
It's the only way.
I think he's trying to watch a lot of people.
Oh, on Zoom.
Yeah, so this is very common where we had a couple people.
Yeah.
Who have other people. You can't watch the show. Like they think you're. So they think that it's a Zoom webinar or like webcast on Zoom. No,
we're just using Zoom to do the chat, but the show is a Facebook show.
Yay!
What?
He's
Hello.
Watching.
Yay!
I gave him a thumbs up. He's watching. Good.
Oh, good. So if you're watching, Jonathan, get ready because whenever you decide to log on now, we can bring Rabbi Sal Solomon into the Daverhood to chat with you. Speaking of religious misappropriation, is there anyone less appropriate than Rabbi Sal Solomon, who will be doing the interview with J. Elijah Cho of the solo show Mr. Unioshi here on Dave's Gone By? Unless Jonathan's been watching the past half hour and is looking at my monologue and go, okay, so he makes fun of dead children. Yeah, this is going to be a good move for my career to be on this show. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let me tell you, folks watching, that if you have people who don't have Facebook, don't like Facebook, they're afraid of their data being misappropriated, you don't have to watch the show live every Saturday on Facebook, although we wish you would. If you miss it, we put the archives on davesgoneby.com, DAVESGONEBY.com. They're there from the very first episode when we were just a radio show, audio only, for years and years, but hundreds. We've done 848 previous episodes of this for God knows what reason. 845 of them are saved, most of them in very good listenable condition. There's some with some glitches, and over the course of 19 and a half years, you're going to have some issues. But nearly everything we've ever done is saved at davesgoneby.com. You can also listen at our page, our channel, at archive.org. We're not connected to that. That is a nonprofit website that gathers art and culture from the past couple of thousand years. We have a channel there, Dave's Gone By. All our stuff is there too. If you're a podcasty person and you just want to listen, the audio only, our shows are at castbox.fm, castbox.fm, or if you happen to have cable TV, if you still have cable TV, and you're on Long Island in Nassau County, you can go to and you get Altice Cable as your provider. Channel 20, Tuesday nights from 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. every Tuesday night Eastern Time. Channel 20, you get an hour excerpt on your TV. Wow, right? And it's a random excerpt. Doesn't mean anything. We just grab an hour, we throw it on TV on Channel 20 on Altice Cable, Nassau County, Long Island. Just in case you want to watch it there. Or, you're sitting in your den, you don't have the computer on, you got your TV, and suddenly you see my face, right? I'm like, that's why. Also, we have a YouTube channel. It's the Dave's Gone By channel called Dave's Gone By. That'll just about do it. So lots of ways, really, to watch the same material. Not to mention that all our Facebook shows are automatically archived on Facebook. Just keep scrolling back through our history. But the best way to watch and to surf and to find a particular sketch or a celebrity who's been on the show or a song we've done is go to davesgoneby.com. And also, if you want to write to me, it's davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. Now let me write back to Jonathan and say, come on in, because I want to see you, and I want to bring Rabbi Sal Solomon into the Daverhood to interview John Cho. No, I'm calling him John now. Gotta figure out the name.
Why, yeah.
Jonathan J.
I think the Rabbi should call him Mr. Cho.
Mr. Cho.
Yes.
He orders from Mr. Cho 3 times a week. They have the best spare with. See, this is what's going to happen when you bring Rabbi Sal Solomon into the mix on this. So as soon as we get Jonathan into the Daverhood, we'll move on with the rest of the program. Remember, we have
Is he in your Zoom?
Not yet. No,
Okay,
that's when he has to come back.
Okay, tell him,
We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, We have our Today Yesterday trivia quiz, which J. Elijah Cho will be playing with Leslie Hoban Blake and David Sheward. Plus, we have our Inside Broadway segment about the theater. So,
I just wrote.
and Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We haven't even gotten to that. So much to
I
do.
wrote him and said, please join Zoom.
Yeah. Thank you. On this May 14th, 2022, the 849th episode of Dave's Gone By, with my darling and helpful wife Joyce, me, Dave Lefkowitz. Let's see if there's waiting room participants here. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Where is he? Oh, my chat is.
That's your waiting room chat.
Yeah.
Go back to Zoom here.
Yeah.
Participants, he's not there.
Okay. So I'm hoping I didn't block him out or anything. I don't know why he can't. Oh, hello.
Do you want to switch your clothing?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, momentarily.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Why would I switch my clothing? Oh,
I don't know.
because another
It's
person's
hot.
coming
It's
here.
hot.
Rabbi Saul Solomon's going to be here in a moment, interviewing J. Elijah Cho of Mr. Uni Oshi. If you're curious about what the show is, I mean, he's going to talk about it, of course, but we do have a trailer. We do have a bit of it that we can show to ya, if I can just find it on my screen here. Oh, no, I know where it is. It's going to be over here. So, we're going to make this. I'm going to share my screen for a moment. If I can do that, here it is. And I'm going to make that this, share this, and then share this. Here is J. Elijah Cho talking about his show a little bit. And then, of course, he will talk with Rabbi Saul Solomon about it a whole lot more.
I'm Mickey Rooney. I know what you're thinking. That Mickey Rooney? Yeah, that Mickey Rooney. Right now, I'm up for a role in this new Audrey Hepburn picture. It's called Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's based on a story by Truman Capote. Unioshi. That's a funny role. I wonder where they're going to find a funny Oriental guy. Besides, it'll be weird. I'm not saying I can't do it. I just... Why wouldn't they just cast an Oriental guy? I'll bet Orientals in the future are even grateful for Mr. Union. I bet they'll say thank you. Miss Go-Rivery, I'm a POTUS! I still got it.
Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And we certainly are guilty of... Wait, I lost my screen here. Let me kill this. Okay, here we are. Hello. Of underrepresenting Asians on the program. And I love Asian. I order Chinese 3 times a week. So it's very important to me to have Asian people represented on the Dave's Gone By program. And you can't get more Asian than our guest, who is... Now, first of all, what is it? Are you Jonathan? Are you Jay? Are you J? What the hell is your name?
Jonathan. You can call me Jonathan. Jonathan would be great.
Shalom, Jonathan. Welcome to the Daverhood.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jonathan. So wait a minute. Is there another Jonathan Cho in Equity? Why then do you have this name called?
Well, there's a very famous John Cho from Star Trek and Harold and Kumar. And so, Jonathan Cho, I was like, is that too close? But my middle name is Elijah. So I was like, that's kind of a...
So, and hey, I come from the chosen people. Okay, that's a little.
I saw the title. It made me think of when I was in high school. I think I was not qualified for student body office, but that was my campaign slogan.
Was it chosen? That's very good.
Chosen.
I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
glad.
yeah.
I'm sorry I stole it from you. I'm
No.
not only a racist, I'm a plagiarist. So, so we're off on a really good foot here. But let me remind people that they can see, first of all, they can see your play, Mr. Uni Oshi, May 18th through the 29th at the Soho Playhouse on I like to call it Van Dammit Street because I'm Jewish. Van Dammit Street. And we saw your trailer, but tell us more about your relationship to this character from Breakfast at Tiffany's and why that made you create a one-man show about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the character that I'm playing is it's a pretty rough watch, and I don't think I had seen the actual movie Breakfast at Tiffany's until I was working on the show. But I know that performance, Mickey Rooney as Mr. Yunioshi, comes up a lot as being, you know, something that's I would say damaging, I suppose. And so it was kind of born out of that. But I'm also I want to say like a fairly inoffensive person. You know, I don't particularly not enjoy, but I think that it's with comedy, you know, I'm so terrified of like making someone feel a certain negative way, I think.
Oh, I
And
have
so
no problem with that whatsoever.
and so I think of like with comedy, I think that that's sort of necessary in terms of trying to find where that boundary lies. And so writing this show was interesting for me in trying to write something that tackles the subject with humor, that could potentially mitigate some of the damage that comes with seeing something like that, and maybe reclaiming, reappropriating, is that a word?
Well, because Dave, the host of this show, was talking early in the program with his wife about Charlie Chan movies, which were also
Okay.
the white guys in yellow.
Yes.
With
Yeah,
a more
yeah.
positive quote unquote stereotype.
Sure.
Where do you go with that in terms of, well, Charlie Chan also not good but better, you know?
Well, I mean, something that I'm thinking of probably because of the news about Fred Ward. But I remember seeing, oh, I don't know if you
He died. I know this.
Yeah, yeah. I remember growing up and seeing Remo Williams for the first time, and Joel Grey plays his grandmaster, the dude who teaches him how to fight. But I remember it was the first time he says he's Korean, and I had seen like Chinese characters and Japanese characters on screen, and I'm Korean, and so when he said he was Korean, even if he didn't look Korean or anything, I was kind of like, oh, there's a Korean guy on my screen, you know, like there's a Korean character, I suppose. And so, you know, it's tricky because when you don't, I think, necessarily see yourself represented, you kind of grasp for what you can get, I suppose. And so it was one of those things that like now I look back at it and I'm kind of like, you know, the young eyes I saw it with, where I was just like, wow, that's they're talking about Korean people on screen, like being combined with like as an adult being like, okay, well, why wouldn't they have cast like a Korean guy? Or, but you know, I'm also,
first of all, Koreans have no talent. So
that's exactly what it,
if there was a talented Korean out there,
it would have got him. You know, that's the question of kind of like, is it lack of opportunity or is it lack of talent? And you know, I feel like until more opportunities come up, that's the thing that can get thrown out of kind of like, well, where's the high profile Korean guy? I mean, we have John Cho now,
and you have the premier of North Korea, basically.
Oh yeah.
So here's the deal: how do you make fun of him without being offensive to Koreans? And because come on, the guy looks like one of those Russian dolls you uncork, and he's a ridiculous-looking human being, no matter what race he is. But he happens to be Korean. So how do you make fun of him in a way that doesn't go over the line of like making fun of Koreans?
Right. Now we're talking about Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un. I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah. No.
Personally, I thought all you people know each other. No, I guess
not.
No.
I wish I was gonna say I wish I knew Kim Jong-un, but like I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, like maybe in the sense that he seems like he could use someone to talk to, perhaps that isn't like his circle. I think in terms of how to make fun of an Asian person without making fun of Asian people, I think that's like the trick, right? Because it's with any of these like topics, it's kind of like there's a trap there, because I feel like just recently it sort of happened with the Will Smith, Chris Rock sort of thing, where it's kind of like, here is this huge high profile event, and the discourse around it, it was very difficult to sort of parse, or kind of like, are you talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock, or are you talking about like Black people? And it's kind of like, and that's the thing, is it's kind of like in making fun of someone like Kim Jong-un, I think, I mean, maybe what I just said about like the guy doesn't seem like he has a lot of friends might be a way to like.
Well, he's had them all murdered.
Right, that too. He's a dictator. You could. It's
Yeah.
like the dictator thing. You could
Right.
attack him for being a dictator. But yeah, I think that especially with this show, Mr. Inyoshi, an interesting thing that I wanted to try to do was, I'm sure you're, as another performer, both you and Dave, I think that there's a certain desire to connect with the characters you play, I suppose. And so I knew that when I was playing Mickey Rooney, I was kind of like, well, I have to be able to connect with this person somehow, even with the, performance that's out there. And I think that for me, one of the things I thought was that desire to kind of like, as a performer, the desire to like be recognized, to be appreciated, to be loved, I suppose. And so I thought that would be my in. And in that, how many times in a desire to make an audience laugh, or in wanting to get a reaction, have I done something that was like, oh, okay, maybe too much? And so like coming from that place, I think it became a little easier to sympathize with Mickey Rooney, the person.
Well, one of the things that I really that I saw a clip of you on, it's like a Facebooky thing where they ask a bunch of folks, or they ask a bunch of Asian people.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, the Jubilee video.
Yeah, I mean they do a lot of these. This one was about
right. Do all Asian Americans think alike? I believe was.
That kind of. Yeah. And one of the interesting things, though, is that you were always sort of more moderate, or to the other side of all these other Asian people. It's like, is this really how offensive is this? And you're like, well, yeah. And they're like, I can't believe it, dude. And you're like, well, wait a minute. I love that you see the subtlety in these things.
I think that was a very fun video to shoot, and that I'm still friends with we became friends on social media afterwards. But yeah, I remember, because when I hear a question, I'm slow to respond, and I'm sorry, which makes it difficult for interviews, because I'm like, I want to think about this question.
Thinking. We don't do thinking on this program.
You just go. I mean, I appreciate that too. I wish I could be more like off the cuff. But some of the questions they were asking, I was kind of like, I don't think there are easy answers. I mean, the one I think of off the top of my head, which might be the most pertinent for our conversation, was are Asian stereotypes funny? I think was maybe the question. And then you had to stand whether you strongly agree or disagree. And, my initial reaction was kind of like, they can be hurtful. They can be hurtful. But at the same time, I think of kind of like within communities of kind of like how Koreans feel about Koreans, of kind of like how we feel about, off the top of my, and I don't know if it's as prominent now, but I remember I used to think like a prime trait of being a Korean man was smoking, drinking, and gambling.
See,
and it's kind of like
to another culture. We would not think of that as being Korean. Internally, you guys would think this.
Well, right. But like, again, it's like, that's no one particularly close to me, but I remember like I'm a military brat, so I got to grow up on a military base in Korea, and so going off base, like I was kind of like, man, Korean dudes love to party.
Well, but military people, what else are they going to do all day? It's
Right, right.
maybe it's not that they were Korean; they just like soldiers would spend their time doing this.
Oh,
And the
the
Koreans hang
soldiers would
together.
go out. Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, but my dad's well, both my parents are U.S. Air Force, and so retired now. But so it was this U.S. soldiers mixing up with like the all age Korean. I always think of like older Korean dudes as being that, you know, but that's like a stereo, and I don't know if it's a particularly funny stereotype, but I feel like were I to make, you know, a joke like that amongst other Koreans, maybe there'd be like a certain kind of like, and so that's why I was kind of like, well, maybe they can be funny if it's like born of the community or someone who's close to the community. I also feel like, because I think that, you know, you see that too with like people, especially New York. I think of how diverse New York is and how that makes you know, comedians have a wider net, I suppose, to cast of like, well, these are jokes that I can I'm able to make because I'm familiar with these communities. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, all right, yeah. But you know, it's finding that very particular line where it understands the thing, makes fun of it, but also doesn't cross the line where it's offensive. By the way, I have a question for you. What does dog taste like?
oh wow.
I blew it.
See that there's a Korean stereotype.
Yeah, there you go.
I actually have not tasted dog, although I have had an opportunity when I was in Korea, but I have not had the
Wait, what? Whoa!
privilege.
What opportunity? What was the McDonald's there? Do they have leashes on the?
No, I don't. I've seen and it was when I was very little, so I don't even know if it might have gone out of vogue, you know. I feel like it was the World Cup because when I was in in Korea, I was in high school on the base for the World Cup, and I remember I don't want to call them like the dog farmers union, maybe. We're trying to have like a you know, stand, I suppose, at the thing, and like culturally they're like, yeah, you can't do that. And I was kind of like, okay, well that might be it not
Well, you know, first of all, it's halal but not kosher, so there's that whole
oh.
issue.
All right, I was wondering.
Yeah. But see, there's a thing. There's a, you know, it's an ugly stereotype that has a kernel of truth.
Truth, right? Sure.
We're eating dogs, right? Maybe not schnauzers because there's just so much hair. But you know, you're Mexican hairless. If you want a little, you know, like wings, it's good.
I wonder if they have like if they import. I doubt they do, but like I wonder if like when they were doing dog farming, if they imported their dogs. This
well,
is
Newfoundland could be a family of 8.
What, like a big dog?
Exactly. You know, a shepherd is kind of stringy, but oh my God, you get yourself a good pug.
Oh, a pug. I mean, my other thing is I'm like, dogs are so cute. And so it's one of those things that's like also just like, oh. But also I think cows are cute, you know?
Cows are cute.
Cows
and kosher. Right.
and pigs. Pigs are adorable to me. Like a little teacup. Oh.
Now we're gonna totally move away from this. And thank you, by the way, for being so. Because you're gonna watch this video in the archives, and you're gonna like, this son of a bitch. I can't believe he made me talk about these things. I gotta show this to my family now. This is all over the web, and I'm talking about eating dogs.
I mean, I think like
one time.
that's the other side of comedy, because I think that I know for me, I tend to err on the side of, you know, the line, but at the same time I also have a certain respect, I think, for people who line step, I suppose, in the sense
I line
that,
jump, I leap,
sure.
Yeah.
And so kind of like to at least figure out where that is, you know. And so I'm down to play, you know. I hope anyone listening is, you know, aware that we're in good,
here's
good fun.
Have you, in doing Mr. Yunioshi, and you've done other comedy things, have you ever gotten the wrong kind of laugh? Have you ever done stuff that you thought was on this side of the line,
Oh,
and you get like people in the audience, and you know they're laughing, but it's not
yeah,
that the laugh you want?
yeah. Well, I think it's tricky too because I think people laugh when they're uncomfortable, and so it is a thing of kind of like. So in the show, I do the I at a certain point, Mickey Rooney gets the character of Mr. Unioshi, which I perform for the audience, and it usually gets a kind of cringy, shocked reaction, but it has gotten laughs at a few performances, and I don't necessarily think it's kind of like, oh, this is so funny. I think it's kind of like, oh my god, I don't know what else to do, and laughter is coming out of my body now, and I think that's where the line stepping thing comes from, I think, because there's a certain thing about jumping or stepping over the line, that shock that like gets a reaction, which I think is, when if you're trying to make people laugh, that's a way to do it. And I think that I know for me, kind of being a more I don't want to say timid, but like a more
Well, you don't want to break boundaries so much. I mean, you want to look at where the boundaries are and wave at them, but you're not.
yeah, just kind of being like, okay, well, that's where it is. But I also think of kind of, maybe it's also because of growing up after I graduated high school, I went to college in Florida, and I was doing theater there for a while, and being Asian in doing theater in Florida as an Asian actor, I think was interesting sometimes, because I remember I would do a lot of dinner theater, and the
Well,
seniors
how many
would.
times can they revive Flower Drum Song? I mean, they're.
Well, that's the crazy thing, is when I was in Florida, I feel like had more opportunities than some of my Asian artist friends in larger markets, because the community was so close knit. They were like, we know Jonathan, we want to see him do Banquo, or we want to see him do. My favorite was I got to do Crimes of the Heart. I got to have a Southern accent, got to be a young lawyer trying to save.
Oh, but you were still male. You weren't one of the.
Yeah, I was still
Okay, I
male.
was wondering about
You're
that
like,
one.
which one was,
Diane
which
Keaton
sister
role or the
was it?
Jessica Lange? Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And so getting to do that, but like with audiences, like when I would do dinner theater, some of the seniors would have enjoyed the show clearly, but have no way in terms of how to talk to me. And so you'd get some like very interesting, it's like, your English is so good, and it's kind of like,
Oh,
oh, and it's kind of like,
wow.
bless your heart,
Is it
it's
no?
kind of like.
Is that microaggression, or it's just they're just trying to be nice? Or is
Well,
it?
I think that
Racist.
it can be both, right? I
Yeah.
think a microaggression can be very well intentioned, and I think that not everyone, I think, is necessary. I don't want to say equipped, because I don't necessarily think this is something. As an artist, I feel like sensitivity is not a bad thing, and so for people being sensitive, I'm kind of like, I've made a profession out of it, and so. But for me, I know that I'm also sensitive in the sense of kind of like, okay, this older person has clearly enjoyed the show and is just trying to search for something to connect with me on. And if that is, we both speak the same language and you do it well. And it's kind of like, sure. It's like, I would hope my English was
You don't talk like
good.
Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
That's the thing. They're like,
Yeah.
wow, the last, if that's the last
pleasantly
reference
surprised.
they had.
Yeah, I mean, when I first met my wife, she was like, "Okay, I expected your penis to be small. It was." So it was a thing of extra. She wasn't trying to be mean. She was like, "You came up to my expectations just barely."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's another one, by the way.
It is, and it's interesting how like the penis size thing, and I feel like both ways it's weaponized.
If you
I
do it
think
right, yeah.
for
Thank you.
see that I'm so. Are you on Twitter? You should tweet. I'm so like. I'm on Twitter, but I'm so like, I don't do hot takes. My takes are always so cold by by the time I
Yeah,
get to them. I'm kind of
I
like, I
can't
think of something.
tweet. I bark. I growl.
But
Not my. We're talking, by the way, with Jonathan Cho, aka J. Elijah Cho. You're gonna want to see, for obvious reasons, his one-man show. What? Mr.
Mr.
Uni
Unioshi.
Oshi, Mr. Uni Oshi. It's playing or will be playing at the Soho Playhouse on Van Damme Street. There's one block off Spring Street. You can't miss it. Just get off the E train. You're right there. And it's playing only from May 18th through the 29th. So you have just a little bit of a. Are you in which room? Are you in which at the downstairs, upstairs? Which thing are you in?
I
You don't even know. Are you in Florida right now? You have no idea about New York theater.
I'm in LA. I believe I'm in the downstairs, I think.
Oh, cool. That's
or
the big
maybe
one.
I believe they said there was a bar.
Oh, so there's a bar right on the downstairs thing on the lower level of the sub basement. Then there's a small theater. The bigger theater is actually right there when you walk in. But
you'll see it once you come to the theater. I should know this. I'm going. We fly out on Sunday morning, so I'm very excited to check out.
Who's
space.
we? Is there a we?
Oh yes, my producer, Ari Stidham.
Very nice. So how did you get there? In other words, you've done the show at Fringe festivals. How did you get to the point where you found the producer and then we're taking this to New York?
We met doing Zoom comedy, actually. So we read I think a screenplay or something on Zoom together. He was very funny. He thought I was funny, so he reached out, and then we've worked together on a few things. He wrote a Star Wars parody musical and let me play Han Solo, which was very exciting, Yeah. And then and now we're working on this, and Ari and his dad David. They're amazing, and they're taking the show.
I was wondering where the money was coming from. Oh, and his dad, the dentist, DBS. Yeah, the guy with an extra like $20,000 who can throw at this thing. I got it. Yeah, now I understand. This is making so much more sense now. I'm kidding. Let me ask you though. One of the things that's on your IMDb on your page is a lot of short films. They're coming up you look at everybody's IMDb list, and there's things in there because they're 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes long. Is it worth it as a young actor-ish to be doing all these short films? Do they make you a reel? Do they get you noticed, or do you just do it because you have to act and here's an opportunity and they cast me?
I mean, I think it's I guess that's the question, I mean, I like saying yes to things, and I mean a good example would be the Do All Asian Americans Think Alike video.
Yes,
was it was offered to me by a friend who I had done a short film with in Florida. And like when I came out to LA, he was like, hey, they're doing this thing. Would you want to come be a part of it? And I was like, yeah, sure. Thinking was going to be like a small thing. And then I think that might be my most viewed thing that I've done, is that random thing that I did for a friend who I did a short film with once. So I think that like it's a gamble, I suppose.
Things lead to other things.
Things lead, yes. Things lead to other things, and community is beautiful, I think.
Now, speaking of community, you have appeared in films and TV things with some well-known folks. I'm wondering if you have any personal experiences or some anecdotal stories about people like Brian Posehn.
Oh, Brian Posehn. Yes.
Excuse me.
No. I actually, you might have. I might be pronouncing it wrong. I'm just saying Brian Posehn.
Well, you were on a thing with him, weren't you?
It was a music video, and it was he has a metal band, and he shot a video for one of the songs called "New Music Sucks," which is the name of the band is Grandpa Metal. And so it's a song about him yelling about how new music sucks, and I play I think an Uber driver who he's screaming at in it. But he was super nice.
Yeah, I'm not looking for necessarily dirt. I'm not looking for you to say, "Oh my God, what a shitheel Patton Oswalt is," or something. No. Like, if you have a funny, happy story, that's just as good. In that video, Weird Al Yankovic was in there, and Patton Oswalt was in there.
Yeah, so, I didn't see them. I was only in a car with Brian Posehn for a little bit, but he was very nice, and yeah, I got to get screamed at by him. But like between takes, he was like, "Hey, you doing all right? Are you having fun?" I was like, "Yeah."
Do you have any? Well, who else? What other celebrities have you worked with
Um,
and have
I
stories about? Yeah.
I will say, I I worked on *Halt and Catch Fire*. And a buddy of mine who's in it, Nick Pupo, just played John Cazale in that the new Behind the Scenes Godfather
I said
show.
poop. I hear poop, and I think that music.
Oh, Nick Pupo. He's heard it. He's heard it.
I'm
But
sure. Yeah.
when I was working on Halt, I met Lee Pace, and he is like as tall and handsome and disarming as one would expect.
He
I
took
was
your
it
arms
was
off. No,
Yeah, he ripped them off.
I
Just,
didn't.
but no, because I remember my first day on set, I was kind of like, I'm boss, this is my first TV. What do I do? And like he was like, "Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the set." And I was just like, "Oh, hi, pushing daisies." And so
Yeah, this one
yeah.
we're on that I admit I have not seen the show. What was the name of it?
Oh, Halt and Catch Fire.
Halt and Catch Fire. It's supposed to be very, very good.
It's about computers in the 80s. Which I will say I was very happy because my dad really likes the show because he was into computers in the 80s. And so I thought in my head canon is I'm playing a younger version of my dad in that show.
Oh my gosh. Let me ask you a couple more questions before you stay on, and then unfortunately I'll have to go and do my sermon at my synagogue. You will stick around to play the Today Yesterday trivia game with host Dave Lefkowitz and of course David Sheward, the theater critic, and Leslie Hoban Blake will be there as well. But before we get to that, I do want a little bit more with you. Can you possibly? Well, no, I'll save this one. I'll save just for when I'm leaving. Let me do another one here. Since you've been doing Mr. Yuniyoshi, the show, for a bunch of years now, how has it finessed and changed since you were in the Fringe Festival? This is already like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
How is it different now, if at all?
Well, I think a big thing is it's I want to say representation has gotten better. I mean, especially like this year with like Everything Everywhere All at Once. And then I mean Shang-Chi just recently, and Crazy Rich Asians has come out since then. And so it's kind of there's better representation, but I don't want to add a but. There just is. And so I think that's made the show a little less bitter, maybe, you know? And not
have you,
that I
have you
think that
changed any dialogue? Have you finessed, or is it really the same script almost, but you feel different when doing it, or you hit certain things different?
I think I've gotten more comfortable, I think, both as a performer and as a comedian, because I feel like the first time I wrote it, I was kind of the first time I wrote it, it was very much kind of like, isn't this wacky? An Asian dude playing Mickey Rooney, playing Mr. Yuniyoshi. It was kind of like a very surface sort of approach to it.
Or like a queer black usher playing a queer black usher writing a musical about a queer black usher. That happened.
Oh, I want to see that. I've heard such great things about it.
That's all right. We'll talk. But
okay.
No, so you're playing Mickey Rooney, playing a stereotypical.
Yeah, but now I think I've gotten closer to like I'm more comfortable making jokes that I would have been afraid to make, I think, when I first did it, because I'm kind of like, okay, I think I have more confidence that I can navigate this in a way that people aren't laughing for the wrong reasons. And also just some of the jokes I feel like I just honed in on. And then I do talk a bit about representation at the end, and I've gotten, I think, better about speaking about that, having conversations like that.
Because my agent died last week, and I'm floundering. I need a manager, I need an agent, I need a florist.
Representation it matters.
It does indeed. Now we're talking with Jonathan Cho, J. Elijah Cho. Go see him in his show. It's called Mr. Yuniyoshi, playing May 18th through the 29th at the Playhouse, the Soho Playhouse on Van Dammit Street in New York. Get your tickets. In the Facebook chat, there's a link where you can go, but also you can go to your website, J. Elijah, Elijah, Cho, You should have done Jonathan. Would be J Elijah Show.
Elijah.
Elijah has an H on the end of it. The hell with it. Go find. You can Google them. It's easier.
Or also MrUnioshi.com.
Yeah, like that's easy to spell for people. Mr.
Unioshi. You got it.
Yeah, not like university. YUNIOSHI.com. All right, here's the deal. I've got to go, as you know, but you're going to stay on. Could you, while I bring Dave into the program?
Yes, yeah.
We need to kill about half a minute here. So,
half a minute.
Could you sing from your song? And I kind of intimated this before. No matter how bad things are, at least you don't have poop in your mouth.
Oh my gosh! Can I play this? It's a duet.
Oh.
There are like beautiful harmonies.
Well, like a duet, kind of a thing.
Right, a duet.
Yeah.
But I can. You want me to sing it a cappella or?
Fine, whatever you want to do. I'm just kidding.
Okay, 30 seconds. All right.
Well,
so
thank you, and by the way, shalom.
Oh, it was so lovely meeting you, Saul. Rabbi Saul Solomon. Thank you.
Dave will be right in. Here is
the poop song, written by me and Nick Pupo. So the message of the song was very simple. It was a song about how when things are difficult, a way to combat that would be to put a little piece of poop in your mouth. And the logic behind that was that if you put a little piece of poop in your mouth, all you really think about is the little piece of poop in your mouth. And if you're thinking about a piece of poop in your mouth, all you really think about is the little piece of poop in your mouth. So you wouldn't be thinking about your other problems. Oh, hey, how's it going? Dave, right?
So you're talking about putting poop in your mouth?
I'm so sorry. Rabbi Saul Solomon asked me to describe a comedy song, perform a comedy song that I had written. I don't have
a million years ago called, well, no matter how bad things are, at least you don't have poop in your mouth. So you can give us a little bit of that, or because I'm admitting our other guest as well. So do you want to you can even acapella-ize it or whatever you want to do? Just
let me see. I want to see if I can find it because I'm very happy with these harmonies that Nick I found on this very silly song. Let me see. I think I can get it. It would probably be
Sheward while we're here.
Oh, hello,
Hi.
David and
Hi.
Dave.
Hi. How are you doing?
I'm Dave.
David and Dave, and this is Elijah.
Jonathan, please.
Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan.
I should
Okay.
change
Jay,
my-
don't even go there. Just call him Jonathan.
Is there another Elijah Chow in Actors Equity?
There's another John Cho.
Oh.
John Cho. Who? Oh, I think I found it. Let me see if I can. Is it weird?
So it's not even a bad thing. It's like aren't you exhorting people to actually put a little piece of poop?
Yeah, just like it was maybe kind of think about that. Things could be worse.
Worse, yes.
Maybe.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's a inspirational song.
Rex, you nearly killed him. Anyway, we are here with Jonathan Cho of the show Mr. Unioshi that will be at the Soho Playhouse. We're also here with David Sheward, theater critic for theaterlife.com, culturaldaily.com, also a blogger for the David Desk. He's also the former managing editor of Backstage and the former president of the Drama Desk, which is finally going to be announcing its nominations at some point. How are you, Dave? You're looking good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, how was your week, Dave?
It's been kind of busy because COVID has delayed all these shows I was going to see to vote for the Tonys.
Yeah.
And I had to catch up with them this week. So this week I saw Macbeth, I saw Mr. Saturday Night, and I saw Golden Shield, which is actually a new show at Manhattan Theater Club.
Oh, okay. So we just lost Leslie, so you might as well tell us real quickly, Dave, of those three shows, which would you recommend?
Mr. Saturday Night is really fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a very good. It's well put together. It's very professional. It's not an exact retread of the movie from 1994, but it's by Billy Crystal collaborated with the other two writers on the script as he did in the movie, and David Paymer, who played his brother in the movie, is also in the musical, and he's very good. It's just a lot of fun. It's wonderful.
It's a very I liked it a lot. I think I liked the book for Mrs. Doubtfire a little more. I know I'm
okay. Well, and I'm very sad that Mrs. Doubtfire is closing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed. I thought I went in there like, oh, another movie turned into a musical.
No, I thought it was very, very good, and I thought it got stiffed with the Tonys. It's just it just got one nomination for Rob McClure. He
completely deserves it, but
it got stiffed in all the other categories, and I thought it was just as good, if not better, than Paradise Square or MJ the Musical.
I'm seeing MJ tomorrow, but I haven't seen the others yet. But all right. And how was that's your go-to? I would recommend Mr. Saturday Night also. Also recommend Mrs. Doubtfire, quite honestly. What did you think of what did you say the other was Golden Shield?
The Scottish play.
Oh, excuse me.
And Golden Shield.
Now, how is since you're holding? Oh my God! Look! Well, he's Korean, but it's close enough.
Yeah, I think this is Chinese.
Yeah.
I wonder what is Golden Shield.
Well, it's this play by Anchuli Felicia King, and it's about a lot of stuff, but it's basically about I don't know how much of it is real and how much of it is fictional. A big American computer systems company is hired to create a firewall for the Chinese government, and several Chinese dissidents who are called terrorists by the Chinese government, try to tell the people this is how you break over the firewall, and several of them are arrested and beaten and abused and tortured. And so this Chinese American woman who's a lawyer starts a class action suit, and she recruits several of these dissidents to sue the American company for being in collaboration with the Chinese government to torture people.
What's a hell of a story?
Yeah.
And the Chinese American lawyer has a sister who's kind of lost, and but she knows kind of lost and has a history of drugs and alcohol and illicit sex. And but she knows how to speak Mandarin really well. So she hires her to be her translator.
Wow.
And then it's all this stuff that goes on between the sisters and the American corporation and the Chinese dissident whose wife is like, I can't take this.
How big is the cast?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, is it convoluted or is it watchable? I mean,
I have to think about it. It had a lot of very good stuff in it. A lot of people from Taiwan and China are Chinese American, and people are in the play, and there's a lot of Chinese in it. So it's a very interesting production.
Wow. Okay.
Or as we call them, the Wuhan flu people. But no, I'm kidding.
The what people?
The Wuhan flu people. That's right.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're just. You know what? Let me give the rules of the today yesterday game. Leslie is almost here. Hopefully, do it on your phone, Leslie. So, John, you've never. Can I call you John, or is it?
Yeah, please. You can call me John. John's good.
So, Jay, here's the deal. This is how we play the game. It's pretty simple. Have you watched episodes? Do you know how we played it?
No, I haven't seen the game.
Okay.
Anyway, here it is. It's simple. There's questions. Each of them is worth 2 points. They're trivia questions. Most of them are multiple choice. If you get it right, you get 2 points. If you get it wrong, one of our other contestants gets to try and steal that and get the 2 points instead. And we roll a die to see who goes. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to need you, Jonathan, to give me a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is.
Okay. 3.
3 for Jonathan. Leslie Hoban Blake, welcome this fine morning. Unmute yourself, please. And Leslie, we've only been doing this for.
You're muted.
I cannot hear you. All right, we're almost there.
Yeah, she's still muted.
Yeah. No, nope, 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 nope. And nope.
There you go. There you go.
There we go. Hello, Leslie.
Good morning or good afternoon. I'm sorry, I was on time again, and oh, there we go.
No, you're here. You're here.
You're here.
Don't touch anything. Don't look with
Don't
a
touch
finger.
anything. Okay,
Right.
Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you.
okay, okay.
Good morning, Leslie. Pick a number from 1 to 6, please.
6, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
That, by the way, Leslie, is Jonathan Cho, aka Elijah Cho, the author and star of the one-man show Mr. Yunioshi, and the other person is, of course, David Sheward.
Oh, now wait. Mr. Yunioshi is the Mickey Rooney character in Breakfast at Tiffany's, right?
Exactly.
Yes. I'm doing a solo show where I play Mickey Rooney developing his character.
Wow, that's very funny. Interesting.
Well,
Interesting.
turnabout is fair play, so there you
That's-
go.
There was just a showing of the documentary Yellowface on Turner Classic Movies.
Oh, I'll have to. I'm gonna make a quick note of that.
And by the way, speaking of
Oh,
which,
shit.
we still conflate things because Jonathan is Korean,
Uh-huh.
and it's just sort of like, oh, well, Asian is Asian, as it.
But
No.
but it's a very interesting documentary about how people like Katharine Hepburn and Paul Muni played Chinese people, and Charlie Chan was played by an American person.
And that's
Right. And
everybody forgets Jerry Lewis.
Toland. His name was
Jerry-
Toland. I
Jerry
just
Toland.
saw him play
Toland.
Daniel Webster in something, and he still looked Asian. It was very funny.
Warner Olin, but
Warner
Warner
and
Olin,
Sidney
Warner
Toland.
Olin. Yeah.
oh, so,
Warner
right,
Olin.
Toller and Warner Oland. And
Yeah.
the
Oh
two-
wow, that's
Two
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
David Sheward, I need a number from you, please.
So we have 3 and we have 6 have been taken.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to say 4.
4. Okay. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to roll a die, a digital die on my
digital
computer here
die.
because it's 2022. Oh, Leslie, this is your day. I came up with a number 6.
Nope, I want to go
rolled the
second.
die.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to go second. Thank you. That's working out for me. Okay.
So Leslie is coming in second place. I'm not making a number 2.
Oh, thank you so much. In my honor, he's not making a number 2 joke. Okay.
He was already singing a song about putting a piece of poop in your mouth. You missed that.
Oh, she just
That's-
missed.
Well,
John-
thank God
that's
they're for
John's
small
song.
favors.
That's John's song.
Now, Jonathan, I just rolled a number 3. So you get to choose. Do you want to be first or third?
Can I go third just so I can?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mary, so you figure you'll get a sense of how the game goes.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
have
And that leaves
Yeah.
me for first.
Oh, sorry, David.
No, that's fine. That's
Oh,
fine.
he usually prefers that.
That's fine.
David, you're practically in the dark. David
Oh, well,
Sheward.
the lighting is not great here.
Okay.
No, you're good now. Jonathan, at some point, I should have mentioned
That's better.
you're going to need
Oh,
something to write
pen.
with and something to write on.
okay.
That's but you
Alright,
don't
I'll go
David
necessarily.
Sheward, I just want to see your brilliant face. So how was your birthday?
Oh, fine. My
Oh,
birthday
happy
was last Saturday.
birthday.
It was last week.
Last
I know.
Saturday.
Happy
But we
birthday,
caught
a
you at
week
the
ago.
beginning of it. There,
Yeah.
that's perfect lighting, whatever you just
I had a
did.
very nice birthday.
Yay! All right, here we go. We're going to start with the game. David Sheward. Do you have a matinee today, David Sheward?
No.
Oh, so
No, I don't. But I am meeting a friend at 1:30.
Are you all caught up on your shows, David?
I just have to see Funny Girl,
Yeah, me too. They're
which
not
they,
letting us in until the end of May.
which they are letting in June 3rd. I'm seeing it
I was going to say or the beginning of June, right? Okay,
just before the Tony voting.
right.
Okay. David Sheward, here's your first question in the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz. And by the way, Jonathan, not that this really matters, but the thing about these questions is all of these things are based on stuff that happened on this day in history. It's May 14th, 2022. So all of these things are tied to stuff that happened on May 14th.
May
But as
14th.
He
Leslie
says
said-
that. He says that, but that's not what it is. You'll get it
Well,
right away.
it
That's
is.
not what
It is. It can be tangential, but go ahead.
It's a jump off
Okay.
point more than anything.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's tangential, which is what
If you
happens.
ever listen
when
to,
I'm naked. All right, here we
if you
go.
ever listen to Wait, Don't Tell Me, you'll understand. It's,
Oh, right. That
the things are adjacent to.
that game they play.
A to
Here
C.
we go. David Sheward, 1483 was the year. Okay. Crowned King of France today is Charles VIII, whose desire to conquer Italy was pretty successful, except it left France weaker and in debt. Generally seen as in poor health and not particularly bright, Charles had this nickname both during and ever after his reign? Was it
Oh,
A, the cabbage, B, the lamb, C, Charles the Befouler, or D, Charles the Affable?
Affable was the last one,
Yes.
and this was what year again?
Well, he was crowned king in 1483. Charles
Okay, so the
VIII.
15th century, 1483.
Yeah, correct.
So that puts him before, well, about the time Henry VIII was born, I think. Anyway, but that has nothing to do with it. That doesn't help. Okay, so this is a crapshoot. I got to pick one of these. I think the Befouler you made up. So it's what kind of the nickname told what about his personality?
He had this nickname during his reign, and he's also known, to historians by this nickname long past. So the choices are A, the cabbage, B, the lamb, C, Charles the Befouler, D, Charles the Affable.
And he wanted to take over Italy, but it left France depleted.
Correct.
Well, I don't think that makes him affable, and it doesn't make him a lamb. He could still be, and that takes us back to befouling. I'm going to go with A, the cabbage. What the heck? I don't think we started with an A before.
Is that your final answer?
Sure, why not?
Well, you've got a pretty good head on your shoulders, David, even though it's not a cabbage head in this particular case. I'm afraid that is not the correct answer. So now we have a steal opportunity. We're going to roll the die, and the die comes up 3 again. Oh, no, 3 again. That means...
that's Jonathan.
John.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go. Can I do the Befouler? I just think it would be funny.
It's a wonderful
name.
name.
Charles the Befouler.
And did he have a piece of poop in his mouth when he said
Right.
That'll turn out to have something to do with chicken. It'll turn out that he used to have his way with
I'm taking over Italy. Do not call me the Befouler.
So, Jonathan, is that...
Yeah.
Are you,
Yes, I'll go with
answer?
the Befouler. Yes.
David Sheward was right. I did make that one up just to be horrible. That is not a real thing.
Hello. How dare you call me?
So now I have a choice between the lamb and affable, both of which are nice things, not bad things.
Yes.
However, the lamb could be a sign of weakness. It could be a sign of if it's the lion and the lamb, the lion would usually win. So affable. Whoa. Let's go with affable.
Is that your final answer?
It was his stage name, yes.
Leslie Hoban Blake, you are affable. That is the correct answer. That's what he was called. He was also pretty good for the arts and other things in
He just left France open to invasion by all the rest of the world. So, other than that, he was a good guy.
It's like Hitler with Russia. He was so fixated on Italy that
Right.
he did well there, but not so much.
But the Germans loved him anyway. They used to call him affable. The Germans used to call Hitler affable,
Oh, God. By the way, just so you know, the cabbage was the nickname for Ivalio, the Tsar of Bulgaria, and Eric III of Denmark was called the Lamb. So those were actual nicknames of other...
I didn't even know Bulgaria had a czar.
Who knows, right? Who knew?
And it's about to have one
so
again.
Funny to me.
If Putin has his way, it'll have one again, so there you go.
Leslie, you are the czar of this game so far because
I am. I'm the Tsarina. I'm the Tsarina, please.
with 2
Please,
points.
the
Yeah.
Tsarina.
I'm playing the Tsarina right here. All right. We have our next question, which is unusually is not a multiple choice, and it goes directly to you, Leslie. So, Leslie, if you get this right, you will be on top with 4 points. So you have a pretty, not insurmountable, a surmountable lead. Already you have a lead.
Okay.
The year was 1796. Doctor and scientist Edward Jenner had an interesting morning. First, he scraped the blisters off a milkmaid's hands to get the pus out of them. Then he injected the pus into an 8-year-old boy. In your own words, why did he do this?
Oh, he invented the smallpox vaccine.
Is that your final
Yeah,
answer?
they gave them cowpox to get rid of the smallpox.
Yes, indeed. A pox on no pox on
That
bees.
was a question? That was a real question? Oh, goodness.
Maybe an
Okay.
easy one, I guess. Okay. Would you all have gotten that one? I don't remember necessarily.
I know it had something to do with vaccines, or
Oh, yeah, he invented, well, they did a variation of a
or
vaccine.
I would have
for
said
something.
I would have said inoculation.
Because in Washington's day they did something, and that it was nothing to do with Jenner. They did some kind of
Yeah, he wasn't the first to do
vaccines, but he figured out the cow thing, and he figured it out because the milkmaids didn't get smallpox.
Right, exactly.
And so he that kind of mind that goes, if this A then B, then you get an answer. So
the answer
okay.
is correct.
And he was Caitlyn Jenner's great grandfather. So
what?
Making that up.
No. Where did that even come from? I don't even.
I think it's
He had nothing to do with it, but that's his other claim to fame. Okay, go ahead.
Well, here's the deal. We have Leslie Hoban Blake on the board with 4 points, but
Jonathan, this is in your honor. I never get these many points. You're giving me all that. I'm getting all these wonderful vibes from you. What can I say? I will send some back to you now so you can use them for yourself.
Thank you.
Now, Jonathan, this game is still wide open. And by the way, I should mention, now that you see how this game goes, there are people who play it for the first, they don't get any points. There's no shaming.
Okay.
There's nothing like that. If you get nothing, it's still like you look back on the game, it's like, of course I got nothing. The game is completely mad. But let's see how you do. You do have a multiple choice.
Okay.
The year was 1832. Premiering in a London concert today is a new work by Felix Mendelssohn, The Hebrides Overture, inspired by that composer's trip to the British Isles. Which of these is false about the actual Hebrides? A church built in 1767 on the Scottish island of Bowmore was built completely round to keep the devil from hiding in its corners. B, in Hoban, a 2011 fireworks display meant to last 20 minutes lasted 50 seconds when it accidentally all went up at once. C, in 1847, the founder of a distillery in Lafroig died when he fell into a boiling vat of whiskey. Or D, Finlagan Castle, built in 1492, actually tilts nearly 10% more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Wow. And which one of these is false?
All of these are true except one.
Okay. I want to go with B, the fireworks thing.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, burn!
Ah.
No, not the correct answer. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to Hoban that answer. I'm going to roll the die.
Man.
And Leslie Hoban Blake, this may be your day. I just got to
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoopee. Wait, before you do anything, spell the word about the name of that. Oh, is it Hoban?
Yeah, well, Hoban.
That answer is eliminated.
Yeah.
I just want to know how it's spelled. That's all.
Hoban. Did I mispronounce
I
it?
wonder. No, I wonder if it's some variation of Hoban because it was all in the.
I don't know.
And Hoban was originally Ohobain and spelled Hobain. And I'm always interested.
English.
Welcome to Finding Your Roots.
Well, my mother went to Ireland and actually did a search before. I mean, with whatever was available in the 70s. Yeah. What were you asking, David?
Oh, I just said welcome to Finding Your Roots.
I know. I heard that. You started to ask me something.
No, I was saying, are you Scottish English? Is that part of your?
No, not at all. It's Irish Polish on my mother's side and Russian and Polish Jewish on my father's side. So
yeah, okay.
Raised by a Russian Jew, so it's everything. It's a little bit of everything.
So anyway, well, I don't know if Hoban is any relation to Hoban, but that is not one of the.
But I'm going to look into it. Just I'm curious now. Thank you.
Of course, yeah, of course. I can read the other choices again if you like. In terms.
No, I have it. The church was round. The Lafroig and the tilting, right?
Right.
Those are the questions. Okay, so Lafroig is still around. I mean, if he fell into it, I wonder if there's any little bit of him left in all the Lafroig that anybody drinks. That would be interesting. You just
Lick
licked
it.
your lips. I saw that. Right. Okay. Wow. You know, the round church sounds right to me. They were so superstitious. Oh, wait a minute. What was the year on the church?
The church was built in 1767 on the Scottish island of Bowmore.
I'm wondering how superstitious they still
There's
were.
great
Excuse me.
involved. Yes.
That was the devil.
A little bit of that went into the whiskey. Yeah.
Right.
The
right.
devil. The devil.
Um, So,
Should have muted him,
that's
that's
not like in the 1300s. I would think they would do that. I'm not sure if they were still that frightened of the devil in the 1700s. Probably they were. They were still dunking witches and killing them, right? So
I know I do. That's my weekend.
you just don't like old women. I understand that. Okay, so we go to.
That's not what you
sorry.
said last night.
Yes. Ah.
Speaking as an old woman, I get to say that. My people, as it were. Wow.
Okay, again.
So which is false? The round church. I'm gonna say you had too much fun making up in 1847 the guy fell in the vat. So I'm gonna say that was your contribution to the lore, and I'm gonna say that C is false.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, somebody probably fell in a vat sometime along the way, probably in 1924.
Well, as Patty LuPone would say, I would drink to that, but it's the wrong answer. So,
And I'm
no,
not wearing a mask, so you know.
Jonathan, you get to, you have a 50-50 shot of putting 2 points
Wait
on.
a minute. Isn't it me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, was this
David.
what question was this?
Yeah, it was mine. I picked the fireworks. That was true.
Oh, I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. David Sheward.
No,
Oh, and I've been
We just
muting.
want you to get some points, Jonathan. That's
I've been
all.
muting myself because I've been sneezing like crazy. But okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I've just been sneezing. All right. So it's either the church was round or the castle leans 10% more than the Tower of Pisa and my nose.
That's
Whoa, God bless, God bless, God
The
bless.
thing with the devil, I think, is true. So I think you made up the thing about the tower, the castle leaning and the Tower of Pisa.
Is that your final answer?
Wait, it would be another D, but that doesn't help us.
Doesn't mean anything. I
Doesn't
know.
mean anything.
Gesundheit.
Bless you, sweetie.
Wow.
Yes, that's my final answer. A.
Well, David Sheward knows a lot about these kinds of things. And you are right, David Sheward. I made that up about the tower leaning. It doesn't lean at all. There is a castle in Finlagen, but it's perfectly normal. The other stuff was true. As a matter of fact, there was Finlagen. Oh no, well, Finlagen Castle no longer exists. It was it's ruins now, but there's still.
But it fell over because it tilted so much.
Oh
Bless you.
God.
Excuse me.
Sheward.
Allergies?
This happens, As Lily Tomlin would say, it's a good thing we're not doing King Lear.
Oh, hey, what's the best hospital to go to when you're having that kind of nose trouble?
King Lear's hospital? I don't know.
Sinai. Okay,
Oh, I get it.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is the plural of sinus, right? Sinai is the plural of sinus, right? Gotcha.
See, Jonathan doesn't get around much Jewish humor, so he's getting it all out. Yeah. Here's the deal. We have a good game going. We've got Leslie Hoban Blake leading with 4 points. David Sheward on the board with 2. Jonathan not yet on the board, but the game is young, ladies and gentlemen. The Today Yesterday quiz here on Dave's Gone By. It's time for round 2, where David, if you can keep from just blocking the screen with your phlegm, we can give you your next question. Here we go.
So what do you got coming up? Oh, phlegm, That was one of the jokes in Mr. Saturday Night.
Oh, okay. I
I
laughed.
told you that he was spitting his phlegm all over everybody in the first 4 rows when I saw it.
He wasn't that bad. I didn't notice it.
I didn't say he was bad. I said when he was singing as a performer.
Oh, no,
when he would project, he would.
That
he
I
would-
didn't get.
That
I mean,
happens with singing a lot.
I didn't see that. Maybe he sprayed his throat when I saw
I
it.
was on the side slightly, so I could see it in the light.
And it was so cold in the theater that the phlegm was really crystallized.
Oh,
Oh,
terrible. Yeah.
my operation.
was a good one.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But thank you.
No.
1897. This question goes directly to David Sheward. You can tie the game.
Okay.
With this multiple choice question right, David Sheward. The year was 1897 on this date, May 14th. Opening today in Washington, Iowa, is the State Theater, the oldest continually operating movie theater in the United States.
No.
Because they cater to an older audience.
1897.
Yeah, this is when they
Okay.
opened.
And it's still. Are you saying it's still operating?
It's still right. It's the
Okay.
longest continually operating
Okay.
theater. So because they cater to an older audience, they're still using the same popcorn machine since 1948 in honor of this longevity. That's just a bit of trivia. Can you guess which of these films was not filmed in Iowa?
Not filmed in Iowa. Iowa?
Iowa.
Iowa. Okay. Not Idaho. Iowa.
Iowa. A, Harry and the Hendersons. B, Children of the Corn. C, Field of Dreams. D, The Bridges of Madison County.
They all sound like they were filmed in Iowa. Which one was not filmed in Iowa?
It was not filmed in Iowa.
No doubt why he chose them.
Okay, Harry and the Hendersons. Field of, what was the second one?
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Field of Dreams.
Field of
Bridges
Dreams.
of Madison County.
Bridges. Okay. Let's see. Let me think. Well, I don't know. I mean, which was not filmed in Iowa.
Right.
Iowa. I think Field of Dreams was, because they've all got corn. They're all like, they all got cornfields. And I hate to confess it, but I've never seen Harry and the Hendersons. Oh, I don't know. I think Field of Dreams was. I think Bridges of Madison County, I'm pretty sure it was. Because big farmlands, I remember all of that. So Children of the Corn or Harry. I think that I'm going to go with the unobvious one and say Children of the Corn.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, Colonel, I'm afraid you are not correct on that one.
All right.
Children of the Corn was, in fact, filmed in Iowa. I'm going to roll the die.
Okay.
Having fun yet, Jonathan?
I'm racking my brain. I'm trying to think, was there corn in any of you? Like,
Well,
Yeah, I was going for I was trying to be counterintuitive.
Well, Leslie, can you be intuitive or counterintuitive? Because this question now goes to you.
Again, wow. Today is the 6th day. Wow, I love it. I did see Harry and the Hendersons, and it starred, you know who it starred, right?
Lithgow,
Judge
John
Reinhold?
Lithgow,
John
right?
Lithgow.
John Lithgow. Just Lithgow.
And I don't remember why I saw it, except my kid probably. It was probably when my son was still small. I'd like to say that's the reason. Who the hell knows?
You were
We're
drunk.
big John Lithgow fans in our family, so who knows?
Maybe you just wandered into the mall that day.
Right. That was that. Yeah, in the mall. Right. I've lived in Manhattan almost 95% of my life, but yeah, I went to the mall and stuff.
It sounds like a mall movie.
I actually went to Washington, Iowa, to see this for the popcorn. I went for the popcorn.
Did you really? No.
Never mind. And the articles. I went for the popcorn and the articles. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I read Playboy. Yeah.
That's where I was going.
It certainly popped my corn a time or two.
And Jim Brown too, right?
I get that.
Well, who's we had this whole thing with this. Who did the songs with popcorn in it?
Oh, James Brown.
Oh.
James Brown. James
You
Brown.
call him Jim?
Never called
My
Jim
friend.
Brown, and is
Yeah.
never called Jim Brown past the age of 8, I'm sure.
He's my friend.
Okay. I'm going to say, which was not shot there. I'm going to say Harry and the Hendersons. I don't think cornfields even figured into the movie, as I recall. And if they did, I don't remember.
So is that your final answer?
So it's false that was shot in Iowa. Yes, I'm trying to make, that's my.
Lithgow Leslie, you got 2 points. Harry and the Hendersons was filmed in Seattle, Washington. It wasn't a country film at all.
It was a
Oh, that's why you went
Florence.
Washington, Iowa. Oh, that's so clever. His questions are sometimes so clever.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
notice I qualified that. Yes, okay.
Sometimes.
So Leslie, I think you have 6 points now. This
Yes,
is
I
like,
do.
oh,
Lucky, lucky, lucky.
yeah, all right, but
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
We're not
boy.
we're not too competitive here.
Oh boy, I'm lucky. Oh, Sam.
but
This is my lucky
Wow.
day.
Here we go. We have our next question, which goes, oh, is this really
To
going
moi,
to Leslie?
to
Leslie,
moi,
you
yes.
almost put the
It is
game
my
away
question.
now if you get this question. Almost. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Another multiple choice. We go now to 1913, so early in the last century. After spending 50 years in the cloister of what had been a Dominican church, the Frans Hals Museum moves to a recently vacated orphanage and reopens today in Haarlem, the Dutch Haarlem.
I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. After spending 50 years in the cloister of a Dominican church, the Frans Hals Museum, HALS, moves to a recently vacated orphanage and reopens today in Haarlem. Which of these is false about Dutch painter Frans Hals?
Okay.
A. Hals loved living and working in Haarlem so much that he wouldn't even travel to Amsterdam for commissions. Subjects had to come to him. B. Unlike his lush portraits, Hals's landscapes featured meticulous and tiny brushstrokes. C. In his later years, Hals was broke and lived off odd jobs in a city pension. Or D. Hals painted many married couples, but on separate panels. Only once did he put both husband and wife in the same frame.
Which
I
is
think it's-
false?
I think
One
it's
of
which
these
is
false.
which is false. Oh, false, false, false. Okay. I'm going to say C. He was extraordinarily famous and popular, and I think he painted until way after. I mean, almost until he died. Like not after he died, but almost until he died.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, because I have a picture of that pregnant bride, and no, well, she's not pregnant, but she's a bride. She just looks because of the clothing. It's okay. Just hit the
It may
music.
not have been the clothing, you know.
Just hit the music. Yeah, you know.
Okay. Okay. Well, even though you are leading in the game, you are not securing the
wrong.
Halls of Power yet. Leslie Blake, that is not the correct answer. Halls
Okay.
was relying on pensions and things like that. He went in and out of favor. So we're going to roll the die. And it comes. Sorry, it came up number 2. All right, let's. There was a number 4.
As long as it's not in
Notice we don't laugh anymore. We try not to
as long as
encourage.
it's not in
it.
somebody's mouth.
There you go, David. So, Jonathan, I just rolled number 3. Yeah.
Okay. So he either stayed in his hometown, wouldn't travel to Amsterdam. He used tiny brushstrokes in his landscapes, which he didn't do in his portraits, and he painted his couples separately.
Except for one time. Right.
Except for one time. The landscapes, the thing about the landscapes that he would use tiny brushstrokes on the landscapes, but not in the portraits.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, color me tickled pink. That is the correct answer. Go on the board.
Yay!
Yay! Yay! Yay! Yay!
Yay! Yay!
Hals was only portraits. He never did any landscapes at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, his portraits were known for very thick and vigorous brush strokes and stuff like that. And yes, that one portrait he did of Isaac Massa and Beatrix van der Leyen in 1662 was the one marriage portrait that he did where he had both couples literally sitting together as opposed to like one guy on one panel and the wife on the other.
Right.
So anyway, yeah.
Yay! Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
In fact, you're tied with David Sheward and only 4 points behind Leslie. So anything can happen in the today-yesterday game, especially since this is your question now, Jonathan. So if you get this right, you'll be only 2 points behind Leslie. However,
Oh,
oh
no.
to the newbie. This question is a little different from our others.
Oh
You'll
no.
get
Okay.
this week's 3 clues in the news. What this is a little different. This is where I will give you 3 separate words. These words are not connected to each other in any way, but each of these words is connected to a 4th word that we're looking for.
Okay.
That 4th
Okay.
word is somehow related to something that happened in the news this past week or two. Not necessarily directly. Okay. And so, for example, if I were to say sweet couch vegetable, you might say, or sack, or peel, sweet couch,
This is
Sweet.
just the example now.
peel.
Okay. Sweet couch vegetable. Potato. Sweet potato,
There you
couch
go.
potato.
Sweet potato,
Okay, got it,
couch
got it.
potato, potato peel. It can be blank word blank, or just a
Got
word.
it. Okay, all right. Is
Got
there a
it?
timer?
Well, I'll keep tabs. All right,
Okay.
here we go. Are you ready for your word?
Yes.
Here we go. Or 3 words, 3 clues in the news.
3 clues. 3 clues in the news.
Egg,
Egg.
flag, noise.
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 Are we okay, David?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Flag. Egg. Flag. Noise. Shell. That's that.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. You look like you're cracking up, but no, that is not the correct answer. Shell is not what we're looking for. I'm going to roll the die for our 3 clues in the news. It came up number 5, came up number 3 again, comes up 1. Come on, came up Leslie Hoban Blake. I have a 6. You can.
David Sheward, I did not do any, this is like on Jeopardy when you think that somebody is cheating. I had nothing to do with it, but I'm very happy to get it. I think it's maker.
Maker.
That's the word That's the word that came to my mind.
Is that your? Oh, actually, I should do it on this. Is that your final answer?
It's the only word that came. Oh, noise maker.
A noise
Yes.
maker.
A noise maker, yes.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to make you.
That's not.
That is not the word. So, David Sheward, do you have it?
I will say white.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good, David. That did not come to me at
It's
all.
not just good. It's really good, David, because it's egg white, white flag, white noise. And why is it in the news?
White people were in the news this week. I don't know.
And they tend to be, yes.
For a
No,
change,
sorry,
right?
We tend to be, yeah. No, also very specifically, why that?
White. What happened this week that was white? Did a white person die? I don't know.
Oh, actually, yes, quite literally. No, it was just a few days ago. This corrections officer, this prison worker named Vicky.
Oh, that's
yes,
her
she shot
name.
herself, right?
Broke
Two
her
whites.
lover, Casey.
Two
White.
whites did not
And-
make an escape, is what happened.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
You almost said, something else.
Oh, I know. You must know that joke. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to
Tell
say
the
it.
most racist joke ever.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
I didn't say it either. I
I'm not
went
gonna
for
say
something
it.
entirely different.
But
I don't remember. I had something that I thought was amusing, but it's
So
gone.
the prison guard woman who helped this guy escape, her name was White.
They were both
and his
named
name was
White.
White also.
Oh.
both
They
His
were,
name was
named-
Casey
and they were
White.
not related.
But they were not
Yeah.
related.
Oh.
Oh,
I
weird.
kept thinking she was his mother.
Yeah.
She was
No.
old enough to be, and
Yeah,
she was
well,
trying to save his life.
And well, these white people, they can't be trusted.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. I don't know if you know about Z-Way on HBO. There's a very intriguing. I think she's either a TikTok or a YouTube performer named Z-Way, Z-I-W-E, who has a show, and she constantly does this. Her guest this week was Chet the son of
Chet Hanks.
Hanks. Yes, right, Chet Hanks. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I've seen clips. She's
She's amazing, and she just does this stuff on the double edge of everything. And he's so fucking stupid that just goes right past him, you know. So he thinks it's a compliment, or hello, good morning, how
This is my
are
darling,
you,
adorable wife, Joyce. Joyce, show your boobs again.
No,
I want some ratings. No.
I'm happy.
Joyce? I told you to use a hand, like in Soupy Sales, not a boob.
You know, I survived so whenever I survive my virtual gym training, I feel it's an accomplishment. Why is David hiding?
He may have had.
I
to
think
take
he's sneezing. I think he's
Oh,
off having a
no.
sneezing
I
attack.
bet you his mom's probably calling.
Oh, that could be too.
Your guest has no idea, but David Sheward's mom does not like the show.
Yeah, she called the show stupid.
No, she loves the show.
She loves you. She doesn't love the show.
I was staying at her house one time when we were doing it, and I was doing it in the living room, so she overheard it. At the end of the show, she said, "Well, David, that was about the stupidest thing I ever heard."
Thank you.
And then he came rushing back to tell us. So I thought that was
Well, it's pretty funny.
Now
Yes,
here's
right.
the cool thing. This
I love
is
his mother because she in Philly. I love Philly. I lived in
Yes.
Did you
I have
see
to call her back and
in
tell her not to vote for
Philadelphia,
Dr.
though? It's
Oz.
like gunmen opening.
Oh God, yes. Oh God.
Philly. That's Philly.
Do you think he stands a chance of winning?
Yes,
Who?
Who?
of winning the
Dr.
seat of the
Oz?
primary.
I swear we're living in Lewis Carroll land. The world was upside down
The
and
primary or
backwards
the
and inside
election?
out.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Oz
Oh,
is Trump's choice in
Oh,
Pennsylvania to win the Republican primary for Senate.
He doesn't live in Pennsylvania.
Well,
He just
his
decided
mother-in-law-
A, B, C. I'll go to Pennsylvania.
well,
you
his
know?
mother-in-law has a house there or something, and he stays there
Great.
sometime or something like that.
Great.
He lives
And some relative of mine had a castle in Scotland. Right.
I
I
don't
could go run for mayor in Scotland.
Anyway,
Anyway, here's where we are in the game
What's
as we
the score?
end round 2 and we move towards round 3. It's a cool game.
What's the score?
We have leading Leslie Hoban Blake with 6
Whoa,
points.
Oh, Leslie. Oh, Leslie.
David Sheward with 4 points, and Jonathan on the board with his big 2 points. Yeah,
Points.
yay.
People don't score at all.
I told him
and
yes.
tell him
We will not
Yeah.
go. We will not go down with
And it-
nothing. So be happy about that.
And by
If
the
you
way,
go down.
Joyce
if
also
you go down,
reminds
you
me,
can still-
Jonathan, that if you don't know an answer to something and you don't want to just say pass or what, you can always write down the title of your show or your website
And promote.
And-
we put it in the chat.
and promote your
Oh.
do that too.
Self-promotion.
That's great. That's great.
All right, but we move now to the 3rd round. David Sheward, you're only 2 points behind Leslie. So if you get this right, we already have.
It's my turn. Okay.
Game. Here's your game as we begin round 3 of the Today Yesterday quiz on Dave's Gone By. The year was 1925. On this date, May 14th, published today by London's Hogarth Press, is the Virginia Woolf novel Mrs. Dalloway, which has been routinely listed by Time magazine as one of the 100 best English language novels since Time began. Well, Time the magazine. According to FlavorWire.com, that is actually true. Their thing is from when Time started.
Okay.
According to FlavorWire.com, which of these is false about Virginia Woolf?
Oh, okay.
A, for the movie version of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Jack Warner of Warner Brothers originally wanted Betty Davis and James Mason to star. B, after taking a baking class, Woolf made a pudding, not realizing she dropped her wedding ring into it. C, when Woolf would have parties, she and her husband Leonard would bring out their dog to do silly tricks, which years later inspired a writer at Late Night with David Letterman to come up with stupid pet tricks. Or D, Woolf and her friends once painted their faces black and put on robes to masquerade as Ethiopian dignitaries.
Oh boy.
One of these is false.
All right. Well, I just can't help it. I have to give some stuff away.
Sure.
Betty Davis and James Mason thing is true. Or those were the first choices. I don't know if Jack Warner wanted it, but that was true. The pudding and the wedding ring that was an episode of I Love Lucy, and several other shows. I think they did on the Honeymooners once. And I think Lucy dropped her ring in the hamburger meat, and they were eating the barbecue when they moved to the suburbs, and there was the ring. So the dog, I think C is false. I think maybe they did do dog tricks, but I don't think David Letterman was inspired by it. So I'll go with C.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I think the dog's name was Flush or something like that.
I don't know. Wait. Let me just. Well, you're Leslie and David are going to be absolutely scandalized. But but Jonathan was talking to Rabbi Sal about this before. So of course we brought out a dog question specifically because we have a Korean in the room. But
What?
get it. Anyway,
He can't help himself, Jonathan.
I thought that was
It's-
Filipinos.
if you want.
Oh my god!
Go
No, there was
figure.
a play off Broadway which Mark Wayne Davies directed called Dog Eaters.
Dog eaters, I remember.
I forget who the
Wow.
author was.
Okay,
It's a woman. It's a female writer who worked at the Public. I can't think of her name.
Yeah, it was a brilliant production. It was a very good play.
It was.
Okay. Anyway, by the way, David, sure, you get 2 points because, nothing to do with stupid, no writers or stupid pet tricks. What would happen is Virginia Woolf and Leonard Woolf, they did have a dog, and the dog would come out at parties, but it would just pee and vomit on the floor, and then they had to take it and clean up after it. So
And then they would say, "We taught him to do that."
Something with Betty Davis's baby Jane. You know how Madonna uses those filters?
yeah.
They had an image of Betty Davis doing that role, and then they had another picture of like a gorgeous, actress that they filtered. They were making fun of the overuse of filtering.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. For Virginia Woolf, I didn't know.
No, I saw it on social media.
Anyway, by the way, it was.
Well, they had to ugly Nicole Kidman up to play the role. Remember, they gave
Virginia
her a
Woolf in the Hours.
nose and
In
some
the
other
Hours.
stuff.
The Hours, I think that was called.
The
Yeah.
Hours.
Hours.
Well, it was based on Mrs. Dalloway, though.
Well,
But
it was
it's
based
very
on Michael Cunningham's novel, which was about the writing of Mrs. Dalloway. And,
Yes,
It's
but
like
so
three
there's a
different-
connection to Mrs.
Yeah,
Dalloway. I
and-
knew that. Yeah.
and
right.
Meryl Streep in the present, and Julianne Moore in the 1950s, 40s.
Jonathan.
Okay, yeah.
Did you want to say something, Jonathan? You got to
Oh
jump
no,
right
no.
in.
I was just
Oh.
reminiscing about the Hours. I was like, oh, I remember seeing that and enjoying it. I was
Right.
like, yeah.
The one
Right.
thing about the Hours that I always thought was like they uglied Nicole Kidman up to quote unquote, and I'm like, I don't know. To me, she looks exactly like Lorraine Newman. An attractive
Interesting.
actress like who's been on this show. I was like, I don't know.
Well, I don't think
You
she's
know,
going to
the
do the show
thing is,
again.
they gave her a honker,
Right.
and Virginia Woolf's nose was not a honker. It had very beautiful lines. It was just large for her face. That's all. She didn't have like a giant hook nose or anything. She just had a big nose.
Now, the saddest part of this whole question is, by the way, it was true that Virginia Woolf and her friends once did blackface, and
Of course they
That
did.
is yeah. I was just
1925,
like,
of
I
course
hope
they
it's
did.
Steve, but
they went on to the British battleship, the HMS Dreadnought, as Ethiopian dignitaries.
Uh,
I was like, wow, it was
Snuck
different
on.
times.
just
you know?
snuck on.
Yeah. No, they didn't. That's why they didn't even sneak on. They were like, we're
Oh,
from
They were
right.
invited on as potentates, right?
oh dear.
Anywho, this is interesting because we have a tie game. We have David Sheward with 6 points and Leslie Hoban Blake with 6 points. Oh my gosh, anything can happen now. And Jonathan is still on the board with 2 points, so you're not quite out of it, Jonathan. If you steal or you steal one and you get the other, we could have a 3-way tie.
You could be
Oh,
a
boy.
3-way tie. Come
Was
on, put on your
Leslie-
thinking cap, Jonathan.
Oh,
A Z-way tie. Okay, because you mentioned the Z-way.
Oh, clever,
David has to say, "Oh, Mr. Peabody."
clever,
Yeah, you
clever.
haven't done that in a very long time, David Sheward. Please do that.
Well, if something merits it, I'll say it.
I just did that whole thing with a Z-way tie. That was a terrible.
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
Thank
You have to
Wah,
beg him
wah.
now.
Oh,
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
this is a very exciting moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Da, da,
Because for this
da, da,
next
da.
question,
Ladies and gentlemen, right. Okay.
I'll be right there. For this next question,
God help us.
I'm
Oh.
afraid that
It's a
I'm
visual.
not going to do it. I'm going to bring into the Daverhood just briefly for this question that is going directly to.
Oh, please, he's not putting on blackface. Tell me he's not doing that.
Oh, shalom again. It's me,
Hey.
Rabbi Sal Solomon. I have a Jewy question for you. This question is going directly to Leslie Hoban Blake, who is part Jewess.
I'm half Jewish, yes.
I'm Jewish, so you can go
Rabbi,
up
why
to
don't-
your
why don't you
ankles.
give her
It's called Half a Jew. There was a
Which half?
website called Half a Jew,
That's what
HAFFA Jew.
David
Jew.
Sheward was doing before. He was going half a Jew, half a Jew. All right, here we go.
Rabbi,
Now,
give Leslie a Hebrew name.
Leslie, what is your Hebrew name, darling?
Rucola.
I have no Hebrew name. Are you kidding me?
Rabbi,
No, I'm not
give her
kidding.
one. Give her one.
My father was Jewish, not my mother. There's no direct line to it. I'm just, I claim it because.
How about rucola?
I'll give you. How
About
about Ryan?
rucola? No. I want to
Rimmel?
be what was the name of the yeshiva boy?
Yentl.
I want to be Yentl. If
Yentl.
I have one,
Yentl.
it'd be Yentl.
There we go.
Yentl would be me. Not Yenta, but Yentl.
No, I have Yentl retardation. This is a thing that I deal with every day. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a question here for in the Today Yesterday quiz that I'm going to give directly to Leslie Hoban Blake, or as we call her, Yentl. Here we go.
Yeah, you have to give it a ha. You have to give the Hoban a ha when you say it.
Hoban.
Let's say
Hoban.
Hoban Blake.
All right,
Yes,
pay
that's
attention,
right.
goddammit.
Okay.
Here we go. This is the question right here. The year was 1948. David Ben-Gurion declares the establishment of a Jewish state, the state of Israel.
Newark.
Which of these is false about Yisrael, about Israel? A, send in their clowns. During the pandemic, Israel was the first country to send medical clowns into COVID wards.
Wow, medical clowns.
Medical
Ah.
clowns. B,
Patch, whatever his last name would be.
Patch Adams.
Mordecai. Yeah,
Patch Adams.
B,
Dr. Rabinowitz.
That's Abramovich.
that's a Brahmin area.
Patch Abramovitz. Okay, go ahead.
B, since the 18th century at the, I hate to say this, at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, an old wooden ladder has been propped up against a window. No one can move it because 6 different churches own the building and no one can agree who owns the ladder. C, in 2012, an Israeli artist created the world's largest mosaic made of socks. Or D, an Israeli company has invented an actual coat of many colors. At room temperature, it's gray. But when it gets warmer, the coat goes from pink to red, and the colder it gets, it goes from pale blue to purple. Which of these is false about my beloved Eretz Yisrael?
I'm just a mosaic out of socks.
A mosaic.
Who would think of something like that? A
Plenty of
mosaic
people.
out of socks.
I've
Jeez.
seen art made of trash.
Yeah, so have
Yeah.
I. But I'm thinking a mosaic is a beautiful thing with glass, and then you come up with. Anyway, okay, never mind. Glass or plaster pieces, or broken plates. All right. Clowns, the ladder, the mosaic, and the
By the
coat.
way, it's very sad. Cynthia Plastercaster died recently. Here's I don't know if you can see the one she made of me. It's the lens.
I know who she was, and I know what she did, so I got that. All right.
Thank you. Yeah, Leslie, your question. Is
Coat, mosaic, ladder, clowns. Nobody can move the ladder because they moved the church. I can you read that question again?
I shall ask the question again. It's B. Since the 18th century, at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, an old wooden ladder has been propped up against a window. No one can move it because 6 different churches own the building, and no one can agree who owns the ladder.
I got it. Okay, it's not that they can't because it's a strength thing. It's an ownership thing. Okay, got it. Okay. Church of the Holy Sepulchre, clowns, ladder, mosaic. Coat. I have no idea. I'm going to say that the Israelis sent clowns in for the children in the COVID wards. That's what I'm going to say.
You're saying that is not true. That is a false
Oh,
statement.
wait. No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanted that to be true.
all
Wait, I
right.
wanted that to be true. All right, let's go with D, the coat of many colors.
Is not true.
Not true.
Is that's your final answer?
Yeah.
Well, bundle up, Leslie Blake, because your coat is going to keep you real warm with 2 big points. Stein points. This is wonderful. Leslie Hoban Blake, you are taking the lead in the game. That is, I made that, or Dave made that question up, that thing.
Yeah, Dave, right, not you.
But check this out. This is true. the Israeli company Sol Cold invented a car paint that cools the car the more the sun hits it. Isn't that genius? Isn't that the most
Yes.
wonderful thing you've ever heard?
But so this was true about the coat.
The
Not
coat was false.
Not. Oh, okay.
Clowns were true.
The clowns was true. God
So the
help
wooden
us,
ladder.
clowns was true.
The ladder's funny to me.
And
Yeah.
the
Well,
mosaic
I
yeah,
that's
and the
funny
ladders,
because
yeah.
I've been to that church when I was in Jerusalem, and I don't remember seeing it. But I'll have to go back.
Yeah, unless somebody
Ladder.
pointed it out to you, you probably couldn't see it, you know,
I'll have to go
probably
back.
this big.
Remove the
And
ladder.
No, but David, if you were on tour, you went to a church and you saw like a little wooden ladder. Would you remember this thing? Who would
Well,
remember this?
We had a tour guide. She would have pointed it out and said something.
Oh, that's
Right?
true.
That's an interesting
It's
thing.
an interesting topic, you know.
Mouse in the church. Remember the mouse?
Yeah. And by the way, when they did the mosaic of socks, what was the one rule? What was the one thing that absolutely they had to make sure?
no black socks.
Or they couldn't match.
No. They had to be clean. They had to put that
Oh.
in there. Like they had,
They had
to be clean
socks. Well, I also was thinking the wording of it because you said the largest, right? And so I was
As
kind
if
of
there
like,
were others, right?
right. I was kind of like 5 socks. You could be like, well, this is my
Well, there's
mosaic
hundreds. Just like the AIDS quilt, only
Right.
for feet. Yeah.
for feet.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
The AIDS school for feet.
Oh,
Okay,
all right,
I
Dave.
like that.
He's getting there. Dave's getting angry. I gotta go. Bye. Dave's coming in a minute. Hold on a second.
Oh.
Dave's getting angry.
Oh, while we're paused, I just got the news that the Drama Desk nominations will be announced on Monday by George Takei,
Oh, that's awesome.
live
Oh,
on
my.
New York One. I just,
Okay.
the news just came over the wire.
Thank
Oh,
you.
nice.
So actually, come to think of it, and I know this is a question that Rabbi Sal would have asked with more finesse than I would. But Jonathan, what did you feel about? I mean, you're Korean, I know, but about George Takei and Star Trek. Was that a role model-y thing? Was that in anything to you?
I mean, yeah, it might have been a little like I've seen clips of it, but I know that like for me, the first I guess role model or like inspiration would probably have been Ki Hoi Kwan from Temple of Doom and Goonies, because I was a kid when I saw an
Right.
Asian kid
right.
hanging out with Indiana Jones and the
It was
Goonies. I was like,
the short round.
yeah, short round.
Short round,
And so
right.
that was, I think, the first
Nothing
time I
racist
was like,
about that.
I
Yeah.
want to do that. But then, yeah, I think what I love about George Takei in Star Trek is it's kind of like I want to play a variety of roles, and playing like a space deck person.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, it's so inspirational. And so like, yeah, I
Yeah,
love George
yeah.
Takei.
Well, that's a fine takeaway.
I just
Oh.
find it so amusing. He was just on The View, and it's so amusing that he waited till he was 60 to come out.
Well, it was
Yeah.
he had
I know, I understand. I totally get it. But I can't figure out whether it was brave to come out or, stupid to stay in. I just don't know which part of
That's
that.
stupid.
At this-
It was never stupid.
well
but-
at the time of his career, he would have been not had a career.
But
not
between 50
earlier.
and 60, he didn't have much of a career. He could have come out at 50,
Well,
I mean,
That's what
I,
you-
it's-
I would
if
have
it-
to look at the timeline,
Yeah.
but I'm
People-
glad he did, and he's made a noise, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I
So,
think-
I'm
not
not,
only is he announced in the drama desk, this is not a joke. He's going to be the MC or whatever they call it of the Japan parade.
the
that's
first
happening.
Japan,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah, like today or tomorrow, it's happening. Like or Monday, the
Interesting.
Japanese Pride parade, or not Pride for
So
Pride
did
means
you-
Japanese, not gay Japanese.
it's the first in this Asian, Pacific Asian, etc. month. It's the first ever Japanese parade,
Cool.
Did you-
Japan
Awesome.
parade.
So did you know
Yeah.
about that, Leslie, or were you
Yes,
not know
about
Yeah,
the
I got-
parade.
I got
about
press
George
release on it.
Takei doing the drama desks?
Oh,
No, I did not. No, you just
Oh.
you broke that. You broke
Okay.
that news.
Okay.
yeah.
It's a
Well, no, I
great
got press
scoop.
release this
It's a
morning.
cool
I mean,
scoop.
I saw it. I just,
Yes.
But it makes sense. I mean, he after all, he has been on Broadway. It's not like it
Yes.
just, it's
That's right.
not a.
And
not a
actually, if you've
stretch.
never seen it, his musical is on Broadway HD. It's Allegiance.
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 Never
Yeah.
seen it. Catch it. Anyway, we're getting too serious here. We have one more question in our main game of today, yesterday. Now, Jonathan, At this point, unfortunately, you cannot win the game, but you still participate, you still play, and we still have a serious game here with Leslie with 8 points, David with 6. So, however this question goes could affect things a lot.
You have to know, Jonathan, we tied last week and then we tied on the tiebreaker. So, you know,
Oh, okay. All right. So
we got this down
It's a big one.
at this point.
you guys are great at this game. No, this is so fun. Thank you.
Well, let's
for-
see how
for
good
letting
you are,
me-
Jonathan, because this
Only
is not.
because it takes nothing to be great at this game. That's why.
Hey,
Thank Leslie.
I include us both. I'm sorry, David.
I knew
This
that.
is not a.
Wealth of effluvia.
Oh, that's me all over. Now, and if you see all over me, I need a wash. But Jonathan,
Yes.
here's the
There's a
deal.
cream
Not
for
mul-
that, you know.
Not a multiple choice. This is just a Q&A, a question and answer.
Okay.
Okay. The year was 1978. Thanks to a new constitution, Upper Volta runs its first open election for president today and re-elects President Sangule Laminzanga, an Army lieutenant colonel. 6 years later, the country would change its name from Upper Volta to what?
Oh no.
Lower Volta.
Right? Upper
Well, John
Volta.
Travolta. That'd be brilliant.
John Tra.
Jantra.
Upper Volta.
That was Joyce's.
God,
That was
and
her
it
joke.
changed its name. It changed its name in 1978.
Yeah.
So what?
Volta.
Vol-
Da 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 da.
Vol-
No, that's Volga.
Oh, da, da, da,
Right?
da.
You're Bulgarian. Yeah.
I'm gonna sound really dumb.
Welcome to my show.
No, tell him to
Right.
promote the show. Promote your show.
Oh yeah.
or you can guess.
I
You
don't
also
I don't
guess.
know the answer to this question, but you can see me play Mickey Rooney developing his character for Breakfast at Tiffany's and Mr. Unioshi at the Soho Playhouse, May 18th to
From
29th.
18th to May 29th, Soho Playhouse off Broadway, right near Spring Street. But unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, it's great that you were doing the show. Unfortunately,
Was that not the answer?
So this is enormous because I'm going to roll the die here. And wow, Leslie, this is your day.
Oh, I really wish it hadn't come to me. I'm really bad at this. And there was a place, but it was in the 80s that changed its name. The only one I can remember, and I can't remember the name of it today at all, but there's a cute story that goes with it. But I have no idea, and I have no show to. So everybody go see Jonathan at the Soho Playhouse playing Mickey Rooney. You'll love it.
It's called Mr. Unioshi is the name of the show. So
Mr. Unioshi. Okay.
that was very gallant of you, Leslie. But now this is big. David
Right.
Sheward has 6 points.
Okay.
Leslie has 8. David,
Oh,
if you get this question right, we have a tie game.
Pottsylvania. No, I'm joking.
Oh.
When the Pottsylvania creeper grabs them, they stays grabbed. Boris on phone is fearless leader from Pottsylvania. Read the question.
I will read the question one more time. The year was 1978. Thanks to a new constitution, Upper Volta runs its first open election for president today, ending up re-electing President Sangule Laminzanga, an Army lieutenant colonel. That's why it's in the news.
Apple, right? Laminzana?
Yeah, well, if it were Laminaza,
Oh.
Laminaza. 6 years later, okay, the country would change its name from Upper Volta to what?
Now it sounds Russian.
It
It's
was in the 80s. Okay. All
Let
right.
me think a minute. What? Okay.
oh,
Bye.
that's.
Um,
'cause-
I'll
'cause he
see you
said-
later.
He said 1978, but then he said 6 years later.
Yeah,
Oh.
so
Right.
it's in
I
the-
got confused. Yeah, right.
Let me think. Upper Volta. Oh goodness. Volta. What? I have some feeling that it's part of the Russian former Soviet Union for some reason.
Hmm.
Volta.
Because you got Volga on the mind. It's not.
Okay, thanks for the hint. Volta. I don't know. Pennsylvania. I don't know.
Or we can promote.
You can't do it, Jonathan. What's wrong?
Oh, go see Mr. Yoshiyama.
Thank you. Thank you.
Miss
yeah.
Golightly. You must stop this noise, Miss Golightly.
That's the one. I play him.
All right, here we go. So I've
Oh, I
stumped
hit my head getting out of the bathtub.
Right, and then
Yeah.
I can't
Now,
see.
is it racist when David does that, or is
Probably.
it like
Yeah.
overlaid?
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, go away. Do your thing.
Oh,
David,
he
hang on.
really
Don't be
went
back.
away.
He left.
He's going to miss the answer to the question, but here's the deal. The answer to good, David, you're back. The answer to the question about Upper Volta was changed to the West African nation of Burkina Faso.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember the name. I got to tell you a quick joke. I was up at the old Montreal Film Festival when this happened. It happened in the summertime, and there were films from Upper Volta that they had to rewrite it in the programs that it was now Burkina Faso. And one of I've just lost you all.
Oh,
Can you
Oh
see
no,
me?
we're
see
still
you.
here.
Okay,
you're here. Yeah,
something came up. Okay, so
that's what she said.
a couple, and I was with a bunch of journalists. They were all film critics, and we were chatting about it and laughing. And someone came along and didn't know what happened. So they said, "There's this wonderful girl here at the festival. Her name is Burkina Faso. We'd love you to meet her." And he went along. They went along. It was awful. They tweeted him, whatever the word is,
Yeah.
unmercifully, because he fell for it, because nobody had ever heard the name before.
Yeah, of course.
It sounded exotic and it sounded like a girl's name. So that was that. Yes, it was Burkina Faso was exactly what I was thinking in the mid-'80s, but I couldn't think of it.
Think of the name. All right, well, now we know. So it was.
I don't want to point. I just wanted to tell my story.
No, it was great.
Well, you're not going to get one.
No,
I know. Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Sue.
Who's the opposite of Dr. Sue?
Me.
yeah, he's pretty generous.
Dr. D. We'll call you Dr. D. Dr. D says no.
So here's
Okay.
the deal. This is first of all, we have to congratulate Leslie Hoban Blake, because with 8 points, she has an insurmountable lead. She is the queen this week.
I am insurmountable. That's sad. You think about it.
I'm not going to make a joke on that. So anyway, but here's the
I made the joke. It's
tiebreaker
okay.
Anyway, we don't have to do the tiebreaker, but every week we take the tiebreaker question no matter what, even though Leslie's the winner. Now the tiebreaker, Jonathan, is done a little bit differently. It's still just a question, but rather than some contestant answering it verbally, you're going to...
Like Jeopardy.
Yes, right.
It's like Final
write
Jeopardy.
it down on a piece of paper, and then you're going to, when I give a 3, 2, 1 countdown, you'll hold your answer to the camera so that everybody holds the answer simultaneously. That's the most excitement we have on this program.
All right.
So get your pens and papers or pencils or crayons or blood ready, because we have our tiebreaker final question on our Today-Yesterday quiz. By the way, it's Dave's Gone By. It's 11:30 in the morning Eastern time here in the Daverhood. The year was 1942. Premiering today at the Cincinnati Symphony is Aaron Copland's Lincoln Portrait, conducted and commissioned by this Russian-born orchestra conductor, best known for leading the New York Philharmonic and Summer Pops concerts in Central Park, and for creating easy listening albums of classical music, show tunes, and pop hits. Name that conductor who, for 20 years, was married to soprano Lily Pons.
Composer. All right, I think I'm ready. I'm wrong.
I think so. I think I know.
I'm screwed up by the Russian thing. Everybody I'm thinking of is Italian.
Oh, is this guy Italian?
It's so nice to have the quiet, isn't it? It's like,
I rarely,
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I changed mine. I'm sure it's wrong.
Have all three of you written an answer?
Yes.
I have.
Here we go. I'm going to read the question again, and then after I read it, I'll give a 3, 2, 1, and on 1, you hold your answer up to the camera so we can all see it. Here we go. The year was 1942. Premiering today at the Cincinnati Symphony is Aaron Copland's Lincoln Portrait, conducted and commissioned by this Russian-born orchestra conductor, best known for leading the New York Philharmonic and Summer Pops concerts in Central Park, and for creating easy listening albums of classical music, show tunes, and pop hits. Name that conductor who, for 20 years, was married to soprano Lily Pons. 3, 2, 1. I see Leopold Stokowski, I see Damrosch, and I see something Irving Berlin. And I apparently have stumped the panel. I'll give you all
Would this answer have
Castellanos?
been any better? Because I've been writing answers.
Shostakovich was not a
Shostakovich.
not.
Wait a minute. He was never conducted? I don't know.
I was gonna
I
say
don't
he was the
know.
conductor.
Baryshnikov.
I don't think. What I just said it. Castellanos.
Is that your final answer?
Andre
Well, no,
Castellanos.
this is my
might
guess
have
after
been.
Yeah,
Stokowski's.
it's all right. Yeah. It was in fact Andre Kostelanetz who did
Oh,
all
I
these
should have written that
albums
down.
and Easy Listening, and
You
yeah.
should have. Yours was married to what's
Gloria
his name's
Vanderbilt.
father?
Gloria Vanderbilt.
Yes, I said it's somebody's father. I couldn't remember who it was. Gloria Vanderbilt, right?
At some point, somebody's Anderson Cooper's mother.
Yeah, Anderson Cooper's mother. Yeah,
Hmm.
And I don't, but I think she divorced him and married Anderson's
She did.
father.
She did,
later.
and then lived happily ever after for
Well,
how long,
not quite,
however
not
long
quite.
he lived. Yes,
Little
right.
Gloria, happy at last. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have been doing the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz with our winner, Leslie Hoban Blake. Mazel tov, Leslie. Now, Leslie, please tell us and remind us that you appear with our mutual friend Charlie Gross on a video podcast all about the theater on the channel 2 on the Aisle on YouTube. Tell us.
Well, we're having trouble getting a new show up on our broadcast network, which is MNN, only because of Charlie's work schedule and sundown and things like that. So I don't think we have a show coming up. We have a show put together. And what we wanted to do is we resuscitated our very first Critics' Choice. Jonathan, when the pandemic came, we had a show that was weekly. It was called 2 on the Aisle, and then there were no aisles for us to be 2 on. So we came up with another idea, which was to review what was going on and to talk to artistic directors about what they were doing with their theaters during this time. And it was, looking back at the first one, it was really good. I mean, for us and whatnot. And our very first guest was James C. Nicola, who is winning a special Tony
It's getting a
this year
special
for his
Tony.
33 years at the New York Theater Workshop. So we had trouble cutting that down from a half an hour to 10 minutes to fit into a 3-part thing. And so it took too long and the sun went down and we didn't finish it. But that will be our next show. It will be along with Take Me Out and A Skin of Our Teeth.
You'll be
Oh,
reviewing
awesome.
those 2 Broadway shows.
Oh, that's so
so
exciting.
So that's going to be the next show, whenever it comes up.
Well, what's
And
the
also
next-
they put us back on our every other week schedule. For a while that we were every week, which was impossible for us to do. So
Well, if every week, can't you just submit a repeat and then they can run?
but they always play the wrong repeat. They don't play like it's. I don't know. I said to him that he should make a show just marked repeat. It should be like a bunch of interviews or something, and it should just be marked. This is the repeat roll.
Yeah.
But it never happened. So.
By the way, what she's talking about is MNN. It's Manhattan Neighborhood Network. It's public access in New York, and you can watch it online also. You don't have to be literally on your TV.
Right.
Oh, brilliant.
But the best way
Brilliant.
to watch really is YouTube. Just go to their YouTube channel.
Yeah, YouTube is, but we don't. The whole show is not on YouTube. MNN doesn't allow that. I don't think. We just put up our segment. I could be wrong. I'm not the point person for MNN. But what happens is we put up our segments, each individual review, and the individual. We did put up that show. We did put up the show with James C. Nicola. He took up. We gave him the whole half hour.
Right.
I mean, it was
awesome.
Right.
Listen, he had 32 years in 2020. There were 32 years, to talk about. So it was great.
So
yeah, I'll check that out. Thank
Two on
you.
the Aisle is the channel.
Thank you, Jonathan. That's very
Sheward.
sweet of you.
You are writing for a couple of different places, including theaterlife.com, culturaldaily.com, which is where you do your theater reviews. What are the most
Yes.
recent theater reviews you have posted?
I just did one for How I Learned to Drive and American Buffalo, both of which I enjoyed.
Is
And
American Buffalo worth seeking? I mean, I've seen that.
yeah, it's not as good as well. The original was like 1977, and Robert Duvall. I still remember his performance in that.
Never saw it.
It was really brilliant, and the play it's a very good tight play. I think that this current edition is not as deep as it could be. It's about these three petty thieves in a junk shop planning to steal a coin collector, steal his coins, and the sort of bumbling, fumbling way that they go about it. And it's really underneath it. There's a lot underneath it that they really want to be part of a sort of a found family, and this robbery is sort of their way of being together and being a family. And it gets all screwed up. And in the end, they wind up realizing that we've got nothing. We're just these stupid guys in a junk shop with nothing, after posturing and talking mammoth talk to each other. And I think that the emotional impact of it is kind of missing in this production, because Robert Duvall really had it.
Yeah, I mean, the last one I saw was John Leguizamo, and it just went nowhere. I was like,
It was, and what's really funny about the production, it's raining outside. In that production, I remember this. It's raining outside, and he has to make a paper hat out of a newspaper, and he puts it on, and that's supposed to be funny, and it sort of shows that he's got nothing, he doesn't even have anything. And in that production, there was an umbrella stand filled with umbrellas right by the entrance, and I'm thinking, just take one of those umbrellas. What's wrong with you?
Or don't put them there so that somebody in the audience.
The set designer made a mistake.
Right.
It's raining. Right. What you got? They're not that stupid.
well,
And anyway, that's like 12 years ago, and I went off track there. Anyway, so that, and I just, as I said, saw Mr. Saturday Night, sorry,
yeah.
Golden Shield, and the Scottish play, which was
But you
weird.
haven't reviewed those yet. You're going to write them.
I'm going to write
What
them.
is Golden Shield? Why do I not know Golden Shield? What
That's
is
the
that?
Manhattan Theater Club. It's the show at City Center, their space at City Center. And I was just telling at the beginning of the show.
Sounds amazing.
You missed, Leslie, while you were logging on.
Yeah, she won. Don't
She
play
did
with
win.
the
She
winner.
did.
She won.
Yes,
She's the
do
winner.
not speak to me in that tone.
And and we just also had a lot of awards are going on. As I just said, the Drama Desk are Monday. The Outer Critics winners are Tuesday. I almost said Fred Astaire, but it's now Chita Rivera. The Chita Rivera nominees are Tuesday. And Thursday, I was at the New York Drama Critics Circle Award voting, the meeting to pick our winners. And those will be presented, and it was announced, and those will be presented next Friday. And that's best play was A Case for the Existence of God at Signature.
Is it that one? You've seen that one? Is it wonderful? Because
I am okay. I did not get to it because so much was going on, and I am seeing it Thursday.
Cool.
And Kimberly Akimbo is best musical, and that's coming to Broadway in the fall. So we'll have another one of those situations next year where it'll be eligible for the Tonys, but not for all the other awards.
Now, let me ask you very quickly also, David, did you write anything new for your blog, The David Desk?
The last thing I wrote was an update of this mostly Black Death of a Salesman coming to Broadway, but I'm working on a blog about everything that's going on, theater-wise.
Cool. Well, also...
And award-wise.
Last but certainly not least, our new friend of
Oh.
the Daverhood, Jonathan Cho, a.k.a. J. Elijah Cho. Gee, do you have anything coming up in a week or two?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very excited to be coming to New York with Mr. Yunioshi at the Soho Playhouse, and thank you so much for congratulations, 849 episodes, and
I know, right?
thank you for
And you had
having
never
me.
heard of me until a week ago. That's my fucking life.
Days gone by. No, thank you for having me. It was so lovely meeting you, and thank you for
Jonathan,
letting
where are
me.
you coming from? I missed everything in the beginning.
I'm flying in from Los Angeles on Sunday, and then starting next Wednesday, or this Wednesday, I suppose, I'll be doing Mr. Yunioshi at the Soho Playhouse, which is.
So you're in LA right now?
Right.
Yes, I'm in LA right now.
Oh, so it's like 7 o'clock in the morning there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm
it's-
sorry.
Oh, wow.
literally- No, it's good. It's good. I wanted to meet everyone, and
Yeah,
thank you so much for the
Can
invitation.
did I tell you that last week, the last time we mentioned American Buffalo, did I tell you the story about my ex-husband and David Mamet?
I don't
I
think so.
don't
please.
remember.
Sure.
David Mamet and my ex-husband and a friend of theirs who ran an antiques place, more of a junk shop than an antiques place, used to play poker every week or every 2 weeks. David used to live around the corner in Chelsea. And years after American Buffalo came out, my ex and I had a conversation for some reason. I don't know why, because we didn't talk for 17 years. But he's, I know, he said to me, that was almost your parents' house. And I went, what? And he said, yeah, we were playing cards. And I was telling him about all the stuff. We had a brownstone on 22nd. The antiques place was on 19th. And he said, I would tell them what your parents had at the, I'd say, this house is amazing. It's 4 stories and everything is antique and blah, blah, blah. And then one day somebody said, hey, why don't we rob it? And it was a joke. But supposedly, and again, I don't know if this was true, supposedly the germ of the idea came from that for American Buffalo. I don't think that the people playing cards, including David Mamet, were planning to go and rob my father's house. But it certainly, I feel, was part of the legacy or the legend of American Buffalo. And it could just be my ex talking shit, which he did.
Well, I think you should contact Lindsay Krause and try and get some royalties out of that.
Lindsay Krause has not been with David Mamet for the last 30
But
30
allegedly, she gets the royalties for American Buffalo in the
I
divorce
did
settlement.
not know that. Okay.
That's
cool,
what I heard. I
cool.
don't know if it's true, but I think she got that in the
Cool.
divorce settlement.
That's so funny. That's why they keep doing it, right? That's why they keep putting it on, right?
Well, it's a great role,
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a delight to have had David Sheward in the Daverhood, Leslie Hoban Blake, and Jonathan Cho. All of you, thank you so much. You've been absolutely great. A delight to have you in the Daverhood. I'm going to bid you all farewell because I've got to do more of the show, but it's time to do the newly, or is it the newly?
Bye-bye.
Match game for one of them. Bye-bye, everybody. David,
Bye-bye.
we'll see you next week. And Jonathan, please come back to the Daverhood. We'd love to see you again.
Thank you.
It sounds
Don't break anything. Married with the show.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, Jonathan.
Bye.
And have a great week. Leslie Hoban.
Okie doke.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we are in the Daverhood. It's 11:45 Eastern Time here on this Saturday morning. It is May 14th, 2022. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. That is my wonderful wife, Joyce. And we have more show to do. We've got Inside Broadway. We've got our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We also have, how you feeling, babe? You feeling ready for a little bit of, the dark side of life. Oh, the scary, dangerous. Yes, exactly, yeah. No. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a column, there's actually 2 columns in this newspaper, the Greeley Tribune. This is a real newspaper, comes from northern Colorado, and in it, every week, are 2 different columns based on real things. One is called Cop Log, in which people call the local police department because there's something weird going on in the neighborhood. The funniest ones make it into the paper. Plus, our friend over there, Mike Peters, he looks through the newspapers back from 1922 for the weirdest, funniest things to our modern eyes that were actually published in the paper 100 years ago. We mix both of those items up to create Greeley Crimes in Old Times. Boom! Da 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 da, but you da da da. Greeley Crimes in Old Times. So we begin usually with the modern stuff, the new crime. These are things that really did happen a week or 2 or 3 ago that people were calling the police about. For example, a caller in Greeley. Oh, amazingly enough, I'm gonna have to improvise on this. Here's my phone. Wait. Oh, it's a very echoey phone. Oh, wait, I can get... Yeah, hello? The caller said, A 9-year-old girl got into an argument with her mother after she was kicked out of school for assaulting her principal. The girl left home on her skateboard. A police officer tried to stop her,
Good Lord.
but she refused because, quote, she hates cops. Wow. Okay.
Man, that's
9-year-old.
Can I tell you, that's so like, we gotta unpack that. That's what people would say.
Well, she was 9
That's
years old,
something that definitely needs unpacking.
assaulted the principal. I don't know how
Yeah.
it was all. Went home on her skateboard, and
Is it
wouldn't.
Avril Lavigne?
Yeah. And then
Oh,
literally when
just
she's
a
pulled over on her skateboard, she won't stop because she hates cops. It's like, at that point, if you're a policeman, do you have the self-control not to beat the crap
She's
out of
a
her?
child.
I know,
You know, like she's a child, for goodness sake.
but she's a child who could perhaps benefit by a good shellacking.
Oh, never.
No,
Never.
maybe not. Okay.
Never.
A caller near Weld County Road. Yeah. This is honest to God. This is the weirdest part of the whole thing.
Oh,
A
boy.
caller near Weld County Road 64 3/4.
Oh, nice. We've been on those roads.
I know.
They're not even on maps.
64 3/4 and
Yeah.
Weld Road 23 3/4
Good Lord, David.
reported passing a vehicle and the driver making an obscene gesture. Upon returning the gesture, the driver flicked a penny at the caller's vehicle. Talk about a penny for your thoughts.
What's going on there?
But it's
They
like
should have flipped a penny and 3/4 at the caller.
That's right. Oh, another caller. Wow, a caller on 29th Street. I'll get this one. Okay. Yeah, yellow. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. A caller on 29th Street reported an intoxicated sleeping man fell out of his wheelchair and was blocking the store entrance. How do you slump out of a wheelchair? How do you do that?
I think he probably fell, yeah.
Because you can be like this, but you're not going to slide down if you're paralyzed. I don't know.
Oh, no. There's some stuff going down.
Well,
Was it
I
8th and 8th?
guess.
It should have been 8th and 8th. I think that was he was trying to get to 8th and 8th, probably.
Probably. Let's do some old time stuff. These are things that were actually in the Northern Colorado newspaper 100 years ago. For example, a group of 6 robbers terrorizing the Plains states were finally captured by the law. Turned out, what? What was special about them?
They were children on skateboards.
No, but you're on the right. Well, in some
They
ways,
were
right.
a Boy Scout troop on a field trip.
No, I'll give you one more. Although you're very good at this,
Girl Scout troop on a field trip?
I'll give that to you. They were an all-woman gang
That is it.
dressed in men's clothing.
I used to call Girl Scouts a coven, like the coven. I mean, that's like, yeah, I mean, that, yeah.
Yeah. So wow. Here's an editorial. This was again an editorial from 1922. The Department of Agriculture has estimated which crops will sell the best in the fall. However, the department's committee has often been wrong and farmers have lost money. Since the Department of Agriculture is paid through taxes, we should just send our tax money to Liberia.
What?
I mean, it's all
There's
making
some
sense.
logic,
It's sort of
yeah.
like, okay, the government tells the farmers what to plant. Sometimes the government is wrong. They plant the wrong thing, lose money. Let's send our money to Liberia. It's like, first of all, who knew Liberia was Liberia then? Actually, that's the question. What is Liberia now?
I don't know.
They named that's another
Yeah.
African country that changed its name. Is it Kenya? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, Grandpa was right. Years ago, when he refused to stop wearing suspenders and nightshirts out in public, the National Association of Clothiers announced that those 2 pieces of clothing are back in style and will be seen everywhere. Is that exciting or what? So, as my grandparents would say, schleikas. And your who wore
My
suspenders?
grandpa wore them, and he had a truss. He was sporting a lot of gear.
Well, which did the suspenders hold up the truss, or did the truss hold up the
I'm not
suspenders?
sure how that interacted.
His testicles, were they held up by the suspenders or by the truss?
I think he lost weight, and then he wanted to.
Keep the pants on.
Up.
Yeah.
He was respectful of other people.
Anyway, oh my God, hon. Let's get ready to make some noise.
Hold on, I gotta use both hands. Okay.
Potato alert! Potato alert! Woo, woo, aye, potato!
Is that the new one?
We have a potato. Yes. By the way, this brand new potato came yesterday in the mail. Look at him. Look at him. He's got nice white, bright, goitery eyes, a big purple nose, a good mouth, nicely stitched. This, look at him. His shape, okay, is a little bottom heavy, but essentially, this is like a Tuesday potato. A well-made, perfectly structured potato with a nice pink, not faded ribbon. He's a beauty. He is an all right potato by me.
Good looking.
We have a potato
He's
alert.
really like movie star quality potato. He could be like, he's like movie star.
Look at the profile.
You don't think?
Look him. Huh?
He's got it. He needs like a headshot and what do you call it? What do you call that thing? Like the resume bio?
He needs, headshot res. He
Yeah.
needs a video reel.
His bow is perfect. I mean, he's in such good shape.
Which is his better profile? Is it this or is it this?
Turn.
Well, he's more aerodynamic with the tag.
I like the tag one side better, but I think with the bow it gives a little bit more, you know.
Yeah, maybe this is
You probably put the bow on his better side.
this is sweet. This is for more romantic roles.
Yes.
This is where it's more Top Gun kind of roles. Yeah.
I think that's true.
Well, potato, very nice debut here. So here's the deal. A potato alert is when potatoes crop up, get it, in our Greeley Crimes of Old Times news items. Potato alert, an employee of the potato sorter plant on 7th Street in Greeley was badly hurt when a large splinter from a board being power sawed was shot through his neck. The splinter was the size of a pencil. The employee is now resting at home. Thank God no potatoes were injured in the incident. So,
Yeah, that seems very like complicated.
and they had to change the sign, now 0 days since the last splinter in the neck accident.
Aw.
Yeah, tough times at the Greeley potato sorting plant back in 1922. When they finish building the partitions at the Weld County Courthouse, there will be restrooms for the public open day and night. The Weld commissioners
In the
appointed,
courthouse?
the Weld County Courthouse, 100 years ago.
Now they have
bathrooms.
the outside porta potties.
Yeah. But check this out. The Weld commissioners appointed Mrs. W.B. Malone as the matron in charge of restrooms
Oh,
and the comfort
God.
station. So that's a job. That's a cool job. And you can be the matron in charge of toilets. What a great gig. And by the way,
I told you there was a woman,
Yeah.
and I never smoked, but in high school, girls would smoke in the bathroom, and it was somebody's mom who volunteered.
Yeah.
And they would hear her, and her job was basically to go in the women's bathroom and out smokers.
right,
And I thought to myself, what a job that is. You wake up and you're you get dressed, you have your tea, your coffee, and you're today I'm gonna get high school girls who are smoking in the crapper. It was such a weird.
well, yeah, that's
And
a
I
gig.
felt bad because I knew the girl, and everyone they had a very bad nickname for the woman. I can't repeat.
Oh yeah, you can.
No, I can't. And then I felt bad because I knew the girl. I was like, that's her mom, but it was.
Was she smoking? Was the girl smoking?
No,
Oh.
she didn't smoke. She never caught her daughter, but she caught other
Oh,
girls.
yeah. And several instances of
How much do you
rampant
pay someone
diarrhea.
no, but how much do you pay someone like that?
Probably minimum wage. Probably
She
parent
could have had,
volunteers.
sanitary napkins, band-aids,
Oh, well.
hair clips. She could have been helpful in other ways too.
Right.
But she wasn't. Yeah.
Oh man.
She just was looking for smoking.
But the thing that I don't get about this is W.B. Malone was in charge of restrooms and the comfort station. What is the difference?
Oh, so they had. I never saw that, but think of lactation stations.
Oh.
Like when I was in one of the Shishi Poo Poo. This is years ago in
Yeah.
Manhattan, in one of the Shishi Poo Poo department stores. They actually have a women's lounge. So you go in and there's
Oh.
couches and mirrors. So you can tart yourself up, and then you go through that to
And
go to the
there's the
restroom. So I think
bathroom,
the
yeah.
actual bathroom.
Yeah.
So I think there really was a
I think now they use it interchangeably on the highway. It's like, oh, there's a comfort station coming
and
up.
I think
and
it's
yeah.
maybe for for food
Yeah.
and stuff. But it's really a nice idea.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
know,
a place to just kind of.
For chill.
yeah. Well, okay, let's. We're doing, by the way,
While other people are doing caca and pee in the other room.
basically yes, yeah. Because women, it's a thing where they all go to the bathroom together. imagine like two of you just have to do number one. One of you is like a serious number two that's crowning.
Oh,
And then
God,
another is like,
David.
I think I have to, but not really.
Yeah.
And then, so where do you wait? You don't sit on the toilet for 5 minutes. You just,
that's
there's a
true.
couch. You can go there and hang.
Yeah.
While the woman's dealing with the other thing that's hanging. But here's the deal. In Greeley Crimes and Old Times, we also occasionally add something that didn't happen in northern Colorado. Something that is weird news from another part of the
Yeah.
world. And today,
Uh-oh.
we're going to Gilroy, California. Gilroy, California for our news item. And this makes me sad. After more than 4 decades, the Gilroy Garlic Festival
Oh.
is coming to an end. The massive... Why is he happy? Why is he happy about that?
Because people with garlic have stinky breath. I like garlic.
Well, it's a massive 3-day event in Northern California celebrating the stinking rose, that's what they call garlic, and it raises money for local charities. Organizers say insurance costs and post-COVID uncertainty are responsible for pulling the plug on the bulb. Said an organizer, quote, obviously, we're frustrated and disappointed, but we're hoping to do a more local festival in the future to celebrate the community, garlic, and all it inspires. Now, here's the deal. The Gilroy Garlic Festival debuted in 1979. It holds the Guinness World Record for the largest attendance at a garlic festival. And like, really, is it that hard to do? How many are
You know
there?
what they should have done? Like, that's the way you could social distance. Like, you don't have to tell people to separate.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one time I had to go up on a stage and receive something, and I had eaten onions at the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And I remember, so just make like an onion and garlic.
An onion garlic
Yes,
fest. Yeah. But here's the. I thought that was funny enough that that there is a Guinness World Record for the largest attendance at a garlic festival. But do you know what happened there in 2019?
A massacre?
A mass shooting
Yeah, of course.
that left 3 people dead and 17 people at a garlic festival.
Because people are mad. They want garlic. I understand that.
I don't know. Since it's a garlic festival, maybe they should just move it from Gilroy to Clovis. Okay, Clovis is a little joke. Let's do one more elsewhere. Something that didn't happen in Greeley or northern Colorado. Another elsewhere story. Oh, in honor of the Asian theme on this episode of Dave's Gone By, the owner of a Chinese restaurant
Oh, boy.
whose food delivery man was fatally shot in Forest Hills.
Oh, no.
Yes, Forest Hills, Queens. Yeah.
Oh, I remember you told me this story. This is really tragic.
He told the New York Post on Monday, this was a week ago, about the man who did it. A disgruntled customer. I'm sorry, it's not. Again, this is the asshole that I am. There's nothing funny about a Chinese food delivery man being shot to death by a lunatic. A disgruntled customer had previously been in a rage over the amount of duck sauce he got with an order. Kai Yang, owner of the Great Wall on Queens Boulevard, it's actually the name of a restaurant, he doesn't own a wall, said the duck sauce dispute occurred late last year and sparked a series of increasingly disturbing encounters. In November, this is a quote from Yang, he came in to pick up his order. We have duck sauce out. Serve yourself, Yang said through an interpreter. He'd take all of it. And by the way, I'm doing a Chinese accent because it's written this way. This is the way the guy was talking. He'd take all of it. Full bin. Entire bin. He'd take his order and leaves. He'd come back, he'd say, he angry. I need more duck sauce. I say, okay, here, help yourself. I give him more. He say, no, I want my money back. Yang said, I say, sorry, it's COVID. I can't take your order back after, and I give you more duck sauce. He called the police. The police came. They asked me if I can refund this money. I said, no, I cannot. After that, my car tire started getting damaged. New car, 2021 Honda CRV, tire slash 3 times.
So crazy.
I start parking in front. One time I see him damaging the car. I come out and I say, no. He pulled a gun on me. I ran back inside. I called police, fill out report.
That's
Employees, including the delivery man, wrestled the customer to the ground.
oh my God.
But despite repeated calls to the police, the patron was never charged. I'd call so many times, the owner said. Sometime he'd be waiting around outside, said another worker. He'd say to the boss and the delivery guy and one of the chefs, I remember you. I remember you. The NYPD would not say much about the man. The Post is withholding the customer's name because he has not been officially named as a suspect or even a person of interest, although he was arrested back in 2001 on a charge of armed robbery. So, but the idea, we probably passed this restaurant like a dozen times in our wandering around Forest
I'm
Hills.
sure. That's,
Unbelievable.
I remember when I was teaching in Philly,
Yeah.
I used to take several buses, right? And so you like before the mega bus and on not Blink, I forget the other bus. I'm losing the name.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there was it was called a Dragon bus, and it went through Chinatown. And someone told me don't take it, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to take it. And then I read that two of the bus drivers got into a fight, and the bus owner, and there was like shooting, and it was like. Because
Wow.
it's big business, right? To get the bus, I guess,
Or as the song goes, the bullets from the bus go round and
but
round.
it's like the ice cream people. They probably have territory of
Yeah.
like where you cover, and if you don't,
Oh,
and if you go into someone's territory,
yeah. I mean, and it's a Chinese restaurant. If you go from column B without permission from column A, it's just not acceptable. Anyway, we move to our next. Let's go back to a little bit of crime, and then we'll table this this segment of the show. A woman on 47th Avenue reported management for saying she was intoxicated on the job.
well, where's that one with me?
So she called to say the management was unfair to her. She initially denied the allegation, but then admitted to being intoxicated and said she needed police to remove her from the scene. So,
But that's good.
well, I guess, yeah. I mean, that's
I think
de-escalating.
yeah, but that's like really good because if you can self-assess and say like, take me out of here, that's super.
Yeah.
If
And-
more people did that, we'd be in a much happier world.
It's true. It's true. All right, but here's another one. Oh, we'll end with this one. A caller on 11th Street. So a man near a school was wearing a bulletproof vest, but what do you think?
It didn't work.
No,
Someone knifed him.
no.
Someone broke a bat on him.
Oh, nothing terrible and violent like that.
no pants. Yeah. of
Yes,
course.
ding, 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 ding.
That's the winning combo.
He was wearing a bulletproof vest and no pants. I wonder if he was accused of assault with a friendly weapon.
I think you need to wear pants. Like, look at you. You got no pants on.
I got shorts on. I do. These are actual real shorts.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm fully, and you're never fully dressed without a smile. And I smiled doing this program, Dave's Gone By, in this particular segment, Greeley Crimes in Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
Oh, he was not.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Thank you, Groucho. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. We're doing the Dave's Gone By show, and yes, we are already in overtime. You can tell because I'm starting to slur words, and yeah, I've been talking 3 hours straight. Well, except for the break I had when Rabbi Saul was here. But we still have more show for you. We have, we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and we also have, and then Friends of the Daverhood also. Did I forget anything else? And let's go inside Broadway because I've been a theater critic for almost 35 years now. I've been a playwright for that long, also an actor, a director, and a theater journalist. I love the theater and love sharing with you Broadway and off-Broadway and off-off. But mainly this year it's been Broadway because I haven't been going to that much theater owing to the pandemic. But I have seen some stuff. For example, 2 Broadway shows this week that I'm going to tell you about. Inside Broadway. Inside Broadway, a look at theater in New York, Colorado, and beyond, brought to you by TotalTheater.com and Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway. Boogaloo-doo, boogaloo-doo. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, inside Broadway we go on this Saturday, May 14th, 2022. So, yes, as David Sheward was saying, it's a tumultuous time for Broadway, not just because of COVID, but because of the way COVID has affected a normally chaotic spring season. All the shows have opened that will be for the 2021-2022 Broadway season. They've all opened and they're all under consideration for the Drama Desk, the Agri Critics Circle, the New York Drama Critics Circle, and the Tony Awards that will be happening June 13th. We're going to have our Tony special on June 12th. So lots of things are opening, and critics are just scrambling around catching as many shows as they can, because so many opened so close together in such a short amount of time, and then shows that we were supposed to see weeks ago, because of COVID outbreaks in the companies on Broadway, they had to be rescheduled 3 weeks later or a month later. So that's happening. It's sorting itself out. It's amazing that we've had a full, rich theater season to begin with, considering everything going on. So we've been lucky in a lot of ways. Okay, well, I consider myself pretty lucky to have seen this comedy this week over at the Sam Sheward, the Sheward Theater, the place where Chorus Line ran for 2 decades. It's a new comedy, and this one snuck in under the wire late in the season. Nobody heard of it. Nobody knew anything about it, but the theater was free, and they said, let's just throw this comedy in there. It's called POTUS. The full title of the play is Or Behind Every Great Dumbass Are 7 Women Trying to Keep Him Alive. No one heard, and people were like, what is this thing? But we noticed, hey, it's directed by Susan Stroman. It's a new play by a newcomer named Selena Fillinger. Maybe it's funny. Well, I went, and it is very funny. Here's the upshot of the piece. It takes place at the White House, and the president, a guy, a middle-aged guy, and flawed as middle-aged guys can be. We never see him. Well, we see half of him at one point, but there are no men on stage. It's all women, and it's all these women who are running the White House behind the scenes. Yes, it's a male president, but it's really the press director. It's also the chief of staff. It's the people who work behind the scenes. Plus, the president's sister comes in, and she's had a very different life from her brother. He's the president. She's been a drug runner and incarcerated, and had a obviously completely different life. She's played by Lea Delaria. And the whole thing is that the president, this is how the morning starts. It always is one little thing in a farce that starts the chain of events that has things spinning completely out of control, and that's the point. In this particular case, the president refers to his wife, with whom he does not get along particularly well. Turns out, didn't even know she was in the room, thought she wasn't in the room, and used the C word about her. And of course, the press picks up on this. And now everybody in the White House, all these women, are trying to contain the damage because there's a newspaper journalist who's there to get a great scoop there. And then there's the people trying to just control the messaging coming out of the White House. That turns out to be the easiest part of their day, because also showing up at the White House that day is the president's mistress, who has a little surprise for everyone that she wants to share with the president and the world, and they're trying to contain her as well. And then, of course, it's door slamming. It's things going out of control. It's trying to stop one thing while another thing is happening, because the president's sister, who is always carrying various drugs and things on her, somehow it gets out of control and it goes to a staffer, played by Rachel Dratch, who is this very buttoned up, very mousy, very meek helper, and she's terrified of losing her job. But somehow she gets some hallucinogenic drugs into her. And unlike Nick Cave's son, she lives, but she does have some interesting experiences. So now they're trying to corral her, corral everything else that's going on. And for an hour and 50 minutes with an intermission, it's just, comic chaos. Leave it to both the playwright, Selena Fillinger, and to Susan Stroman, the director. She also directed the producers on Broadway. So Susan Stroman knows how to keep an audience laughing. She knows how to keep, not just laughing, but to keep the energy of a farce going. That's pretty simple in an hour, but when it's almost 2 hours long and the audience comes in on a high, I mean, they were laughing and applauding when the curtain went up and there was nothing to laugh at. The audience was just there, right? But an audience is going to be there for a farce in the first 20 minutes, half an hour. But to keep them there, that's juggling something. Now, in doing so, I think sometimes Stroman does the play a bit of a disservice. The play is smartly written. It's constructed well. There's a lot that we're keeping in mind. There's a lot of little firecrackers going off through the whole proceedings. And I think sometimes Stroman doesn't give the play enough credit to let it settle down, to have more subtle humor rather than bang, 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 lots of action, lots of tumult all the time. So while she succeeds in creating a comedy that works and that keeps the audience on a high all the way through, I would have liked to have seen more quiet scenes, less of all these people stepping on each other's lines intentionally. Half the time I'm like, what did she say? Well, you can't hear because the audience is laughing over it. Again, it works in a sense, and in other times it does a disservice to the play. And it's got a pretty well-known and mostly amazing cast. Rachel Dratch is a walking sight gag. She is, she is really, really funny. And of course, they dress her up. It's a lot of costume work too. But when she is out of her mind, on drugs, you're trying to watch everything else that's going on, and she's just there like seeing colors, moving, ridiculously got up. Every time you look at her, you laugh. She's hilarious, and I think she's Tony nominated as well. Leia Delaria, whom I generally am not crazy about, she's also really good here in an insane way. She is more calm at the center of the storm, even though she's one bringing more and more chaos because she's the president's sister and she wants a pardon, and she's the last thing they want to be dealing with on this day. Julianne, is it Julianne Hough or Howe? I never know how to pronounce it.
I can't pronounce. I'm the worst I can't even speak.
Yeah. She plays the president's mistress, so it's fun to watch her dance, and she's pretty cute, and she's really good. So that character is another one who is creating comedy, and she's a lot better than you think she would be. Vanessa Williams is the first lady, and she nails her character as well. I mean, everybody's pretty good. Susie Nakamura is the press secretary. I really liked her, and her character is also like this stone-faced, like, I'm in control here. Lily Cooper's really good as the journalist that's just trying to get a scoop of everything that's going on while balancing being a mom at home in the marriage. And then the one disappointment to me, the one thing that I was kind of really surprised was Julia White. Now, Julia White's been great in so many things. She plays the chief of staff. She's the one who's really supposed to corral everything to keep the president safe and okay, and keep things rolling despite all the roiling in turmoil. But Julia White just basically screams through the whole show. And she's mic'd. Everybody's a little bit over-mic'd.
Why is that?
She's everything is like this.
Why?
I don't know.
They should lower her mic, can't they?
Lower her mic, and she can also modulate what she's doing.
Or can't they lower individual mics, or she doesn't need to be mic'd?
If everybody's mic'd, you can't have some and then not others. But they need to either modulate both her performance and the volume, because it took me out of the play. She's going to scream again. She's screaming. There's no reason for it. That character's on edge. Yes, that character's like grumpy and scared of losing her job and worried that everything is going out of control, which it is. But it's just relentless, nonstop screaming, and it really takes away from me from the play and the comedy. Doesn't ruin the night.
Did anybody comment on that, like under review?
I'm gonna read the other reviews again. It's been a while to see if they gave her a Tony nomination.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Well, maybe that night the mic was off, or did you sit closer? Maybe.
I don't know. Whatever it was, that was a real. And the other thing that I wonder if people are getting about this play, and it's either really brave of the playwright, or just maybe she doesn't. I'm sure she realizes it. That okay. Oh, I get it. A woke feminist play. Here's this stupid idiot male president and all these women who are fixing his problems, and
That's just called life.
putting life things on a boo-boo. But when you watch the play, it's almost what's reactionary. All these women pretty much are borderline incompetent, borderline crazy. They just make things worse.
Who wrote the play?
A new playwright named Sarah Fillinger. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, well, this is really funny and quite brave because this is the opposite of a woke kind of story or a post-Me towards there's sops that they throw to a very left-wing Broadway audience, and just the idea of 12 women actually running the White House. But there's a moment towards the end of the play where we get the sense that, everything is a farce. Everything does work out fine in the end. But the speaker will, not the Speaker of the House, the Chief of Staff will eventually become president as she's longed for. That's the job she's really wanted. And we're supposed to feel like, if women were on top and if women were running the country, wouldn't things been so much better than these male, white, entitled idiots? But this play does absolutely nothing to convince us of that. If anything, it makes us feel like, oh my God, we're lucky men have been running things because look what a shit show these women are putting on. So there's a weird reactionary feel. It's like a Lucy episode in a lot of ways, which I was a little shocked at. And in a certain way, I felt a little bad about that. But I also felt good that we are in a period where a female playwright can go there. She doesn't have to be perfectly woke and stuff. And there is one line, though. There is one that was, remember, this play was probably written a year or two or three ago. And I don't think they interpolated this line. I'll bet this line was here months and months ago. But a line about abortion being kept legal and safe for women. And the audience just stopped the show and applauded for like a full minute.
Oh, you'd think it was like just an older line.
It was, but suddenly there it is. Like, keep one of the things, like if we had a woman in charge or we have this president, we'll keep abortion safe and legal for women as it should be. And people people didn't even feel compelled. It was just spontaneous.
Wow.
Everybody in the audience just went like, because it's so raw.
And that actor was like, thank God it's my line. Thank God I got that line. They love me.
Yeah.
They really love me.
The audience almost didn't want to stop clapping on that line. So, but anyway, as far as just in terms of a fast-moving, enjoyable time at the theater, that's fun and could be even funnier if they just calm down a little bit. POTUS, I do recommend it. It's at the Sheward Theater on Broadway. It's in a limited run. I think it's running through August, but it might just be running through June, so you don't have a lot of time to catch it. Check it out, POTUS on Broadway. Also, by the way, can you, if you have a moment, you might want to check out the website totaltheater.com. It is a website, it's not a profit thing or anything like that, but it's a compendium of theater reviews from all over the country, all over the world, and a lot of friends of the Daverhood write reviews for it. There's Will Manis, Mary Shen Barnage out in Chicago, Ann Siegel in Seattle. So if you want to find out what shows are playing all over the country, check out totaltheater.com. And you can spell theater either way, E-R or R-E. We have both URLs. Do check them out. Okay, now, in terms of another show that I saw last week, in particular, more of a wokey idea is, and yet one that again is challenged by its actual content, even as they're doing something that is post-Me Too and in a fifth wave feminist era. They've revived, once again, one of the greatest scores in the history of musical theater, Company. Got some company, there's some company. Stephen Sondheim, maybe the greatest cast album ever, was the original cast album for Company. And now they're doing it once more, but this time there's a twist. The director, Marianne Elliott, had the idea of, well, originally in 1970, when they wrote the play, a playwright named George Firth did a bunch of kind of one-acts and pulled them together, all about this guy and his married friends. And he's single, he's hitting his mid-30s, but he's watching all of those couples. And he's like, well, why am I not married? Why am I not settled down in a relationship? Let's look at these married couples, these good, crazy people, my married friends. And what are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? when am I going to find the right person and settle down and
Is
get
it a
married?
musical?
Of course, it's one of the
Yeah,
great
of course
musicals
it
ever.
is.
Well, in terms of the score, it certainly is. And they've revived Company a couple of times on Broadway. The most recent being, I'm pretty sure the most recent was featuring Raul Esparza as
Wow.
Bobby in a cast that was all playing their instruments on stage. It's a chamber version of the show, and it worked very nicely. Now they're doing something even more non-traditional. Bobby is Bobbie. They've made Bobby a girl.
Nice.
Bobby is now played by Katrina Lenk, whom you might remember from the band's Visit. And her married friends are still married couples, although one of them now is a male gay couple. And the dates that Bobby has are with men instead of the other way around, instead of being played by women. So some of the characters stay the same gender, some flip the gender, but the whole idea is, aha, here's this story of a woman, and they do update, it's not 1970, they update it to modern times. So here's Bobby, she's turning 35 years old, she doesn't have a steady boy, she goes on a lot of dates, because she looks like Katrina Lenk, and she's going on all these dates with these guys, but she's not committed, she's not having that connection with someone, and she's been like, oh, why am I not married? I'm 35, why don't I have this? And there's no baby, there's no this, there's no house, it's just me and my crazy married friends and dates and one night stands. What am I missing? What do I do? And the direction on this, and it's very sometimes, when you have a concept and you follow the concept all the way through, and it's a new and twisty sort of concept, some things are going to work surprisingly well, and other things don't make quite as much sense. But one of the wonderful things that Marianne Elliott, the director, and the set designers do is Bobby comes in the very first scene, and she's 35 years old. She's got a balloon, one of those balloons with the numbers on them, like 3 and 5 on balloons.
Yeah.
And later in the show, there's this visual gag where she's in the doorway, she's framed, and now the balloons are like 5 times the size.
Oh,
and just
wow.
the number 35 looming over her.
That's clever.
And when she's in front of apartment building, her apartment building, the number on all the doors is 35, 35. Because the other idea that she brings to this
I like
revival
that.
of Company
I like that.
is not only that it's a girl Bobby, but that it's a fever dream. None of this is
Wow.
It's
It's
happening.
Like Raskolnikov.
Yeah, everything is going on
It's like
in.
that-
Well, Rusko actually killed the.
No, but
yeah.
it's like the febrile brain. It's like a
Yeah.
different.
All the scenes that she's watching are probably elements of real things, but they're in her imagination. Every
Yeah.
scene that is happening. And so that way you get away with a lot of stuff, like someone coming out of a refrigerator. Why not? It's in her mind. All these, the ways that she's watching these couples, the way scenes come in and out, and the way she's being watched when she's making love to her not her boyfriend, but one of her male guys that she dates. It's all sort of, it explains things and weaves things in a way that usually works pretty well. The idea that it's not realistic, that this is just what's going through her head on her 35th birthday.
It's her stream of consciousness.
Yeah. What doesn't work so well necessarily in 2022 is this idea of a woman hitting, oh my God, 35.
Yeah, that's not. They should have upped the age to like 55 or 60.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just last week we were talking about a woman who had a baby when she was 74.
Yeah, I think
That's a
that
little old, but-
construct is a bit.
So that aspect is a little bit like, because this desperation of she acts one scene has these gay friends of hers,
Yeah.
and they're about to get married, and one of them briefly chickens out.
Mhm.
So she goes to the other gay guy and says, "Marry me,
Yeah,
just
have a
let's get
baby.
married."
It's a little
Which flips on its head
yeah.
what was in 1970. Bobby saying to this girl, "Oh, maybe we should get married. We've been friends. Let's just get married, even though they're not."
But that's such
in
a
love.
hackneyed kind
Yeah.
of deal.
So there's that. I mean, there's ways that they're rejiggering the George Firth material of the book to work, even in a normal company. Company doesn't always make sense, even when you have a male Bobby. One of the main themes of the show is towards the very, very end of the show, one of the great songs ever, in Being Alive. Joanne says to Bobby, it's like, make a wish, Bobby. Want something. Want something. Except it makes no sense because throughout the whole show, Bobby has wanted to get married. Bobby has wanted to find the girl. It's not that he doesn't want something. He just hasn't found the one that he wants, you know? So there's a schism in between what the musical is really happening and what suddenly it's saying thematically. All that aside, it's still friggin' Company. It's still some of the greatest songs ever written for musical theater. The little things you do together, which Peg and the Pone does amusingly, all about this other couple that they do jujitsu together, and that's, you know, they're fighting and they're snarky, but at the same time, that's some of the glue that holds them together. It's the little things you do together that make perfect relationships. You know, the people you annoy together, the children you destroy together, that make marriage a joy. I mean, just the lyric writing on Company is it's beyond it's perfection. Very often, it just is.
Who wrote it again?
Sondheim.
Oh,
It's Stephen Sondheim. And then Sorry Grateful, the single greatest song maybe ever about marriage, right? The single most truthful song ever about marriage, and beautifully done in the show. Towards the end, you know, and everybody, of course, is waiting for the last two songs. There's not one, but two 11 o'clock numbers
Oh my God.
in Company. One of them, of course, made famous by Stretch and Ladies Who Lunch. So, can you top Stretch? Certainly not. So this time it's Peg and the Pone.
Oh my God. Well, that's pretty darn. Come on.
Tony nominated Peg and the Pone. I thought she was good. I didn't blow me away. I found her a little slurry in her speech. She's been accused of that forever.
That's her style.
It is her style.
You can't expect a daffodil to be a tulip.
She did a fine job on it. I was not particularly blown away by this number that's supposed to blow you away. I honestly remember Deborah Monk more than her doing it. Not that she was bad, but it was just, I didn't think it was a really special
You didn't think
performance.
she fit the role.
Oh, no, she totally fit the role.
She didn't knock it out the park.
Right, exactly. However, on the other hand, people have been, I don't get it. They've been dissing the lead actress Katrina Lenk, who plays Bobby. That she doesn't sing it. I thought her singing was fine.
What's the problem then? Why did
No, I don't. She didn't get a Tony nomination, which I think she was robbed. And then at the end, you're waiting for this big number that Dean Jones just, you know, he knocked it out of the park. At least on the cast out. Well, I didn't see him in the original production. He was just here. In fact, he left the original production a month after it opened because he was having marital issues, and then
he needed company.
another actor, I forget the Larry Kurt, came into it, and he did the show for a year and a half. But if you watch Dean Jones and the Company documentary, if you hear the cast album, it's extraordinary. It's one of the great moments in theater, right? So,
Oh, you're choked up, Bubba. Oh, and David Huggy.
well, because it's being alive, you know. It's this great song. And so Katrina Lenk, who can sing and who can act, acts the hell out of it. And she does it in a way that the first half of the song, she's trying to figure out, she's looking at all these couples that have ridiculous marriages. They work or they don't work or they're crazy and whatever. And she's like, I don't understand this. I don't want that. I don't get this. And then suddenly in the middle of the song, she's like, no, wait, I do want this. It's almost impossible to act that way. Yeah. But she does it. And she sings beautifully.
Nice.
What, you know, I thought she was fine. Is she going to be Dean Jones? No. But I thought her choices were fine. She's
It's like
magnetic
Beanie.
all show long. Yeah.
My trainer saw the one with the beanie, you know, the Barbara Streisand number, and she thought it was great. But she didn't compare it to Barbara because she didn't see it. So it's like, you know, is it fair to compare?
You know, and what was funny was at intermission, I was sitting next to a couple of women, and they were like, because Katrina Lenk has this dress that she wears, this red dress that she wears, it makes her, you know, she's very pale, and with this red dress on, it's like you can't not. And first they're talking about the show, and this one woman says, I don't like Sondheim stuff that much. It's too that. I'm like, did you hear Sorry Grateful? Did you hear well, maybe I'm not gonna, you know, these other songs? He's Sondheim. But then we're having this conversation about theater, and then one of them mentioned like Century 21. Yeah. and then suddenly they were off on Century 21 about they missed that.
That's an Angela something and they go out in the audience, you know, just fighting about work, they're talking about picking up the kids, and the guy goes, "We're in trouble. When you don't talk about the show during the intermission."
Well, no, it isn't that. It was that they were into and they're watching the show, and this woman was like not a big Sondheim fan, but then suddenly I was like clothing, and I realized I had a penis, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read my playbill now. Nice to meet you guys, you know.
Sonny, you made friends. I'm proud of you.
But that was the anyway.
I'm very proud.
On the whole, company well worth seeing. I give it 3.25 stars. Is it the best company ever? No. Is it a really interesting and excitingly directed take on problematic material? For sure. Is it a score of songs that you really want to hear again? Oh, you betcha. And I was worried about it because the first number is kind of cacophonous. I don't know if they have the sound design right or whatever. You know, and I was talking a week or two ago about A Strange Loop, and it was very, very heartening to read on the bulletin boards of the Broadway thing that I read that so many people are complaining about the sound design of that show.
Really?
Because I thought, okay, I'm deaf in an ear, and I can't understand what they're saying when they're singing.
That's not the one that had
The black gay usher.
No, that's not the one that had the loud sounds you didn't like.
No, that was Hangman. That was different. Well, A Strange Loop is a musical about a black gay usher writing music about a black gay usher writing music. So when in the ballads I could hear what they were singing perfectly. Anytime two people sang together, or unison singing, or the orchestra started piping up, I was like, I okay, they're saying something. It sounds clever. I'm catching a word here and there, and I just assumed, okay, I should have brought a hearing aid. It's not, but everyone is and they're bitching that the sound design was nominated for a Tony Award. It's like, no, we can't hear what the fuck they're singing, or we can hear it, we just can't make it out. So in this case, we hear pretty well the lyrics, very well indeed. How did I get on that? Well, just the fact that you're gonna want to hear the lyrics in this.
You know that you were saying that the loud woman screeching probably got you thinking.
Well, that was in the other show, but yeah. But in terms of, and then it's still a long show, particularly because there's no real plot. It really is a string of incidents in this woman's head that she's, and the show is like 2 hours and 50 minutes long. So there is a point at which you're kind of like, oh, wow. And I've seen longer ones than this. This one moves fast. So you gotta settle in for the night. But you know, you are not gonna mind when you hear all these people doing classic Sondheim songs from one of his greatest of all scores, Company. It's at the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater on Broadway. A fairly strong, actually, recommendation from me, because even though I'm talking of and finding the flaws and saying this and this and this, am I happy I saw it? You bet. Would I see it again? I would. So, yay for Company revived on Broadway. And we're talking about it on this segment, Inside Broadway.
It's the famous gay white way, where the night is bright as day.
Oh my.
Ain't Broadway grand?
Doodle-doo, doodle-doo.
It's not just a thoroughfare, it's a tingle in the air.
Uh-huh.
Ain't Broadway grand?
It is indeed. It is grand to talk about Broadway. It's grand to do all the things that we do on every episode of Dave's Gone By, Saturday mornings from 9 until noon, or well past noon, here on our Facebook page, Dave's Gone By, with the archives at davesgoneby.com, archive.org, castbox.fm for podcasts, and the YouTube channel Dave's Gone By. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up, but before we get to that, let's thank one more time our brand new friend of the Daverhood. He's Jonathan Cho, a.k.a. J. Elijah Cho, and he's doing his one-man show. It's called Mr. Unioshi, and it is playing May 18th through the 29th at the Soho Playhouse off Broadway. Really easy, you know, I keep stressing this because you figure, oh, it's over on Van Dam Street. Where the hell is it? It's a block from the Spring Street E-Train subway. It's nothing. You know, it's go. Since you've seen him, he's fun and funny and personal, attractive. Go see him in Mr. Yuniyoshi, happening starting this week off Broadway. For tickets, go to jelijahcho.com or mruniyoshi.com. Both of those places will bring you to where you want to go. And we thank him for being a new friend of the Daverhood. Friends of the Daverhood are people who have been on this program over the past bunch of years that we've been on the air. And we keep tabs on them because we see them as being like family. And we want to let you know, hey, since they've been on this program, they have done X, Y, and Z in their lives and in their careers. For example, so I want to let you know that on the 16th of this week, Marilyn May, I think she's 94 years old, Marilyn May will be at a benefit for the York Theater Company that is happening at St. Jean's Church over on East 86th Street. Now, the thing about York is that during the pandemic, when they couldn't even use their theater, they had a terrible flood in it, and they haven't been able to use it since. So St. Jean's has stepped up to the plate and given them a home, but they need some money. So Marilyn May going to be part of their benefit on May 16th this week. Want to let you know also that off Broadway, our friend Stuart Zagnet is taking over as Mr. Mushnick in the off-Broadway revival of Little Shop of Horrors at the West Side Theater in Midtown. Letting you know also that starting on Wednesday through Saturday, Ann Hampton Calloway is going to be doing her show at Feinstein's 54 Below. That is an in-person show. However, on the 21st, on Saturday, it will also be live streamed. So if you can't get there, if you're worried about the pandemic, you don't want to commute, you can also pay and watch the show from the comfort of your own living room, shed, or bathroom. It's Ann Hampton Calloway at Feinstein's 54 Below. Letting you know also that Gretchen Cryer is directing a play called A Good Girl Doesn't, and that is running through next weekend at the Cherry Lane Theater. Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano at Birdland. They do it every Saturday now through the end of May and probably beyond that. Saturday nights at 5:30, Barbara Fasano and Eric Comstock singing the Great American Songbook. And want to tell you about all this Broadway stuff, ladies and gentlemen. For example, Girl from the North Country with J.O. Sanders. That's nominated for a bunch of Tony Awards. It's at the Belasco Theater on Broadway. Off-Broadway, on Thursday nights, they brought back Katsura Sunshine's Rakugo. Remember, he's this guy who does a very rare and particular form of Japanese-style storytelling in English. His name is Katsura Sunshine. His show is called Rakugo, and it's at New World Stages off-Broadway. Also, well, moving to on Broadway, Austin Pendleton is in The Minutes. That is the play I reviewed last week by Tracy Letts. Definitely worth seeing, and he gets the biggest laughs in the show. That is at Studio 54. Dear Evan Hansen is on Broadway at the Music Box Theater and features our friend Christian Knoll. And then Paradise Square. It's gotten surprised people with how many Tony nominations that show has received. It's co-written by our friend Larry Kerwin and and choreographed by our very talented friend Bill T. Jones. Paradise Square on Broadway. We were talking before about Mr. Saturday Night, the Billy Crystal show at the Nederlander Theater. The lyrics on that show, which are very, very good, those are by our friend Amanda Green. Ray Bachor is still playing Amos in Chicago on Broadway. And Aladdin, the Broadway musical, features music by our pal Alan Menken. That is at the New Amsterdam Theater. Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland. Go to birdlandjazz.com for tickets. Evan Seplow founded and edits the New York nightlife and also theater review website, stagebuddy.com. And Dr. Demento, still making brand new Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. You can hear podcasts about upstate New York history from Bob Cudmore at 24/7 show tunes. And also, if you subscribe, you get trivia quizzes and crossword puzzles, all theater-oriented. soundsofbroadway.com. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget that you can read plays by Charles L. Mee for free at charlesmee.org. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I forgot to mention, in our friends of the Daverhood, of course we can't forget David Sheward. Read him in culturaldaily.com, theaterlife.com, and his blog, The David Desk. Leslie Hoban Blake, who is on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, Public Access TV, as well as YouTube, with Charlie Gross in their show, Two on the Aisle. And, of course, Rabbi Saul Solomon. Read his rabbinical reflections and hear them also. And watch his hilarious stage show that was recorded a decade ago off Broadway, and even the 10 episodes of the hilarious TV show that he did for local cable TV. It's all at shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com for all things Rabbi Saul. And by the way, for all things me that aren't on the radio, but that I've written, check out my website, davelefkowitz.org. Okay, well, we've done so much. We've had Jonathan Cho on the show. We've done Greeley Crimes in Old Times. We've done, I'm being very Jewish now. We've had that Broadway thing with that Broadway and that Broadway people Broadwaying, and we've talked about the stuff in the beginning of the show. I don't even remember what the hell we were talking. What was it? It was about, it was Nick Cave and the dead. Oh, you shouldn't know from it. Have we covered everything, dear?
You need your offensive limerick.
Oh, that's right. My wife reminds me that it's time to get poetical, to versify, if you will, in a diverse kind of a way. Because Joyce and I spent a bunch of years living in Colorado, and I really loved Colorado. And one of the things that, when I looked on a map, I realized there's all these places that I've never heard of. Oh, I've heard of Pueblo and Vail and, even, I don't know if actually, before we moved, I don't think I even knew what the hell Fort Collins was. Never, maybe from South Park.
Yeah,
We did. But, and then we moved there. But looking on the map, it's like, ooh, all these names, many of them rhymable, and many of them rhymable with disgusting things. So I got it into my head to write a poem about as many places in Colorado as I possibly could. 5-line poems, limericks. And being limericks, they tend to be humorous and sort of rude and risque and awful. And so this week is no exception, ladies and gentlemen. We have a Colorado limerick of the damned for Alma, A-L-M-A, Alma, Colorado. And it's coming at you right now.
You're the poetry man.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain.
Yes, Colorado it is, ladies and gentlemen, for our Colorado limerick of the damned. It's Alma. Let me tell you a little bit about Alma, Colorado, and then I'll upset you with a horrible poem about it. Alma is a statutory town in central Colorado, and it has pretty rough winters because this is really high. I mean, this is more, Denver is the mile-high city. This one is nearly 2 miles high most of the way through. In fact, its post office is the highest elevation of any post office in the United States. Population, understandably, is under 200 people. Back in the day, the place was named not just as a Spanish name for soul, like a merchant named the town for his wife, Alma. It was a pretty popular name back in the day. And then in the 1870s, it was a huge mining town. I don't envy those miners having to be there in the winter. doing that. I mean, it was bad enough to be in a mining town, but when you're 2 miles high and it's just like cold, and snowy, and isn't like part of the winter. It just never gets above 0 over there. But Alma is still there. It may not be after I do this limerick of the damned about Alma, Colorado. Okay, save the noises for the end.
I do one at each part. We'll stop at each line.
All right, let's try this. I know a young hooker in Alma, so nervous that nothing can calm her. If you use your finger, you'll frighten and sting her. So don't use your finger, just palm her. Yeah. Send your complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. You can also post messages for me here on the Facebook page or direct message me if you're a friend on Facebook. But either way, I do love to hear and read your comments, your thumbs up, your thank yous, whatever you want to share with me, your suggestions for upcoming shows, or to tell me, Dave, love your show, but those Colorado limericks, my God, that happens too. Anyway, it's all good. I want to hear from you guys. davesgoneby@aol.com. Don't forget also to follow my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2 is my Twitter feed, Radio Dave, and the number 2. And Rabbi Saul's Twitter feed, by the way, is @Rabbi Saul Solomon. @Rabbi Saul Solomon. So, yeah, that about does it. We're about 10 to 1 Eastern time in the Daverhood. Anything you want to talk about this week? I was going to talk about, I probably should, because we just talked about company. Patty Lupone and the masking thing. You want to?
I think we gotta hold it. It's already almost.
It's 10 to 1.
Honey.
My throat's
Usually
a little shot.
Limerick is the
Limerick is the topper.
limerick is the cherry on the icing on the cake, or the sprinkles on your Carvel cone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll take 2 minutes. 2 minutes, because we're still before 1 o'clock. So, but 2 minutes is just like, what happened was, Patty has had her incidences with audience members. One time it was with a cell phone. She threw it from the guy. This week, she's yelling at a person, not during company, not during the show, but after the show, they have a talk back where a number of the actors in the performance sit on the stage, talk about being in the show, answer questions from people in the audience. Well, Patty noticed that someone in the audience was not wearing a mask.
But they have to.
Not even over. Yes, they have to. So she starts cursing him out. I mean, I think at first she's relatively like, put a mask on. And then she's like, put a fucking mask on. I haven't seen the video, but it goes pretty viral. And, there's a back and forth between the audience member and her.
They should have escorted him out.
I mean, he left. But, or I forget whether it was a man or a woman. But, so this happened. But there is a moment there of disconnect. Because even during the talk back, all the actors on stage are not masked. So you've got a woman hollering at someone in the audience.
Yeah, but
saying,
they're COVID tested.
Yeah, they
so
are.
The
That's true.
actors are probably COVID tested that day or maybe whatever.
Yeah.
So I think, but also it's the rule. If that's the rule.
It is the rule. It's the rule of the
that's
theater.
The rule.
It's the rule of the thing. But there is something, and especially like up until May 1st, everybody in the audience had to be vaccinated too. They were all vaxxed and wearing masks. So, yes, it was absolutely wrong and stupid and selfish of that audience member not to wear a mask. I would imagine they had to be masked during the show, because otherwise the usher would come and
I don't know how it goes.
the ushers are like Nazis. They're like, mask up, on the nose, over the nose, on the
It's a more risk for the actors if someone's unmasked and has COVID and is exposing the actors to
Yeah.
COVID, and then I feel bad because then the actors are out and they can't perform, and then the whole group gets out.
Yeah,
right?
and risks the shows.
That happened twice or 3 times where they canceled your visit because of the.
Well, someone in the company gets.
Yeah, they canceled that. I remember.
So, I mean, while I'm absolutely in Patty Lupone's corner on this one, I don't know if that was the best way to suddenly to holler at someone with no mask on, saying you should wear a mask.
But I think you can't judge emotions, because at that point, I'm sure after acting, it's like after teaching, you're on a high, and that probably just hit her, and she just was like, you know what?
Yep.
It's coming out.
Yeah. But it's sort of like when, like the New York Post would point out, or like that dinner, and this is going back a year and a half, in the height of the pandemic, when you have all these dignitaries and the celebrity, and they're at this fancy ball or fancy glamorous dinner, and meanwhile, all the serving people, they're all in masks. All the people who are making minimum wage and tips, they're masked fully. Everybody that they're serving isn't. The rich and the hoity-toity aren't. There's a disconnect when those rich people are the ones telling everybody we must have a mask mandate.
Yeah. I think it's very complicated.
Yeah. And then there's also this whole idea that over all of this, New York, which has had very serious, strict mask mandates for so long, and Florida, which wear a mask, don't, whatever, you should get vaccinated. And meanwhile, the death count and the whatever count aren't that different. But of course, New York is much more concentrated. New York people are in subways, they're jammed together. So if masks kept a lot of people, Florida, there's a person over here and then there's an old couple, halfway down the road. It's a little different. But I don't know. I just, after this point in the pandemic, when everybody's so sick of things, and we know there's BA2 climbing, and we know that the numbers are going up, and at the same people are just like, you know what? The numbers are going up. I may get it, I may not. It's 2.5 years. Fuck the masks. And don't tell me I have to wear a mask if you're staring at me not wearing a
I
mask.
think with Patty Lapona was just the energy after the show and something hit her wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows you don't know what's going on with her. Maybe did she ever get COVID on her?
Well, I think she did. I think the company, they had COVID. They went through it. Yeah.
Maybe there's some residual, you don't know what went with that.
And you can get COVID again. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just my 2 or 3 cents. Finishing up on, I wanted to do that today because we did company
It's relevant.
the show.
Yeah.
And irrelevant is a big animal that eats peanuts. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been the 849th episode of Dave's Gone By. Look, I get to peel 2 numbers this time.
Wow.
Please join us next Saturday, the 21st of the month, for the 850th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the stream. I'm not sure who the guest will be or if we'll even have a guest. Check davesgoneby.com and this Facebook page.
Awesome. What a good guest.
Yeah, no, just a wonderful show. Thank you to David Sheward.
Wonderful. And then Leslie won again, so.
Leslie Blake, the queen of Today Yesterday Trivia. And Jonathan Cho, of course, as well, and Rabbi Saul. Thank you all so much for watching.
He wouldn't stop appearing today.
Oh, Rabbi Saul. Yeah, he came back. We really pressed him into service.
He loves it.
And you've had people pressed into your cervix. You know how painful that can be. But, thank you to my wonderful and ever so tolerant, lovely, wonderful, terrific wife, Joyce.
So glamour Tato.
Oh, yes. Yes. Look how beautiful. Look how gorgeous. Potato, do you want to do the honors of saying our final line of the show?
David, no.
Say, paper ketchup. No, that's got nothing to do with anything. What do I say at the end of every Dave's Gone By episode? What's my tagline? I have a tag. I have a tag. Look,
Usually he says, Joyce, let's go to lunch.
Joyce, you want to do lunch? Want some ketchup?
Aw,
This is
thank
not
you.
going to work. Okay, I'll just do it, and you can watch, Potato. Watch your profile. Here we go. And gone bye. Let's try that again. And gone by.
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
See you next week.